we have a thing in South Africa called being a soatpil, which means being like having a salty willy, which basically means it's from like an old. It's basically old.
I want to hear you explain your way. Welcome all the way from Cape Town. He's come over just for this podcast, right? Is that right?
Honestly.
Yeah. Theo Erlangsen. Round of applause. Oh, thanks for joining us.
I think that's necessary.
So you're just starting a long period on the road in your van, aren't you?
Yeah. Always the migration across into being a gypsy again. Every year I kind of like being a gypsy a little bit less. Like when you're like 22,
so? Yeah.
you're like, yes, I'll stay in a transit van and do whatever you want. And now I'm like, oh, okay, I guess we'll get the transit out again.
It's going strong though.
Yeah, it's going strong. Ian Reynolds picks a good transit. I'll tell you that much.
Shout out Ian Reynolds.
Yeah, sure, yeah. He bought it for me.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
like years ago, I didn't know anything about like British buying cars and insurance and anything like that. And then I met him at DarkFest and he was like, okay, we need a van. He's actually a legend. Drove it because I couldn't get visas to get into the UK on a South African passport. He drove it across the channel and met me in Calais so I could meet him there and then drive it across.
No way. Big shout out. Ian.
He's done a lot.
Holy, Ian Reynolds. There's something about dads that they can just buy good cars. Eh?
Yeah.
Like, what is it?
Is Ian Reynolds a car dealer or is he just...
He's good at cars.
Oh, is
like
he?
he
Yeah,
has,
he's a
like
car
he
guy.
like builds
Car
Lotuses and does things.
Lifetime car guy.
Yeah.
Okay, and he knows his tranny bagos.
He knows them good.
He knows his tranny bagos.
He knows them good.
All
So
right.
this trip is for how long?
Till September.
Okay.
It's like 4 months. Which gets quite hectic. I feel like the Euro guys have a bit more of like, it's quite nice if you're in Europe and you can do a couple races and then pop home, get a little reset, like chill out for a bit and then go to the next race. Like from now until September, I am gypsy mode, no home, no nothing, like just event to event, just going. So like by like August, you're like, whoa, okay. Yeah.
So is it fair to say, if I was to categorize you as a rider, it would be a free racer?
Yeah, I think Brandog's the ultimate free racer, but like, I feel like I'm just like, I can't say no, like just bikes, and like if there's fun bikes going on, I want to have fun on my bike. So if it's a World Cup or big jumps or something, like, I mean, I can ride a bike, let's go do it. I want to do
It's
everything.
the official bio on the Monster Energy website, isn't it? Freeracer.
Is that so? Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. I had a look
Really?
earlier.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that
It's the
either.
official bio on the
I
Monster
think
website.
it is true though. It is actually the best way to categorize you. Eh?
I think it's just because they're like, we can't just sponsor this mid-pack World Cup riders. Let's be free racer.
Yeah, but if you think about the events you're doing, so this next 4 months is what's your primary concern? World Cups?
Having fun, to be honest. That's primary
That's so
concern.
sick.
That's the dream, dude. That's so
But
good.
it's like the next, dude, I'll tell you the next few weeks, it goes Poland this week, then Trans-Madeira next week, then Hardline the week after that, then Backyard Battle at Hodgie and Vero, then Leogang World Cup, then Val de Sol World Cup, then Leger World Cup, and there might even be another event in there somewhere. But that is like, I don't know, a lot of weeks, just
Mate.
event.
And it's so many different skills, so many different bikes. When you actually
Yeah.
think about it, it's actually like it's not that easy. Not that it's easy doing any one of those things individually, but like to be able to go and ride the biggest jumps in the world, then race a World Cup, and then race at Hardline. Like, that's what we're talking
And
about.
an enduro in there somewhere.
Yeah,
that
with
was.
Trans-Madeira.
I'm probably going to get smoked there. But that's another thing. Ryan was like, "Do you want to do Trans-Madeira?" And you're like, "Well, I'm not going to say no to bikes. I've never been to Madeira. Of course, I want to do it." Like, so yeah, we'll do it. You know,
Wow. Why are you here though? Why in the Surrey Hills?
just where Ian Reynolds registered the van. Pick it up here and drive it across.
Mate, makes
I think it is
perfect
good.
sense.
Like, if you register a van in France and stuff, you need like proof of address and like stuff like that. In the UK, you just need an address, and then like it's kind of just easier to register vans and stuff here. So,
Right.
and to be honest, you boys are on the Surrey Hills, so it's always good.
Well, you've just done a Trans-Madeira training ride in the Surrey Hills, and you're ready now, ready to go.
Picked up some electrolytes. I'm good.
Right. So what's the path to becoming, like, you make a joke of it, it's all just fun, this and that, but the path to becoming a free racer, whatever that really means, isn't that easy, is it?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, it's not actually, like, it's not as though you just, like, pop on a bike and you're like, but I've just been riding bikes forever and ever and ever and saying yes to every opportunity under the sun. So then you're like, okay, well, and then it kind of just, I don't know how it even happened, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I think I probably would have, because there's no, like, free ride and stuff like that. Well, now it's kind of growing in South Africa, but, like, before DarkFest happened in South Africa, there was, like, some local races and some local national series and stuff, and that's just all I knew. So I just grew up racing. And then as soon as Sam started doing stuff in South Africa, I was like, well, that looks fun.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, and then did that, and then that opened up a couple doors to other events, like Lose Fest and Royal Fest and stuff like that, and you're like, now... And then that's again, it's like, do you want to come ride some cool jumps in France? Like, yes, of course I do. So then, and then you do that, and then it like, so it just kind of happened like that. But yeah, it was, the first couple of years was pretty scary.
I bet. So Cape Town's got a killer scene, so you started off just racing downhill. I guess when I think about Cape Town, I think about Stellenbosch and like cross country as well.
that is the main scene there.
Yeah, so what stopped you doing that? Was it just...
To be honest, I just kind of rode... Actually, when I was in school, there was a couple older kids in my school who had downhill bikes. And I was just like... I was actually riding my mom's hardtail, like, let's call it it was a mountain bike at best. It wasn't an enduro bike or anything. And I was just smashing that thing around. And then, like, I saw some older kids in my school who had downhill bikes, and I was like, that looks like the coolest bike ever. And then I just smashed my mom's bike enough that I was like, okay. And then I bought an old downhill bike from, like, a kid who, like, whatever, for 1,000 Rand, which is...
I don't know what it is.
50 pounds. And it was an old, like, turner burner weapon of a bike. And I rode that for like 6 months and like rode the absolute pants of it until actually the chainstay snapped and was dragging on the floor behind me. And I didn't even know it snapped until it was making a noise. And then I was like, oh, nah. And then by that point, I'd like ridden it good enough that like the guys in that little local scene were like, okay, we need to try get you on a proper bike, my man. And then I got like a Giant Glory like years ago, and then I was like, this is the sickest thing ever.
Wow. So there's like a race scene around Cape Town, is there?
Yeah, there's like, I'd say like a local kind of Western Province, like provincial series, and then like a national series. But like, I mean, it's not even close to like your BDS series here and stuff like that. Your BDS series here is like pretty hectic. Like the podium's like Danny Hart, Jordan Williams, all of those guys. So then, but yeah, that's kind of just, went to a couple of like, once I had the bike, I was like, okay, let's go ride kind of thing. And then went from there and then started getting more interested and then saw overseas and this and then like more zine and then, stuff like that.
I guess you had the Neethlings.
Yes.
Were they first, I don't actually know, in Cape Town, were they first guys to sort of go overseas to race?
Pretty much, yeah. They even so like him and Greg are so before my time that I don't really know like the start of their career and how they did that. But obviously, as I got more into it, I was like, oh, Greg, okay, Needles, and then Needles was always rocking up to the local races and like trick factory stuff, and you're like, whoa, that's so cool.
I don't know much about South Africa. What's like an elevator pitch about South Africa and the riding scene? I guess it's got beaches.
Yeah.
So I think Cape Town is the best city in the entire world.
Do you really? Yeah. And is that where you grow up?
Yeah, grew up in Cape Town.
All right. Which is the capital?
No.
There
Our
you go.
capital is Pretoria, and that's a shithole. But it's like our old capital, and then Johannesburg's another big town, city, and that's basically, there's so much gold there, so that's just like a gold mining place. But an horrific place if you're a mountain biker because there's no hills or no nothing. And it's quite a rough area, whereas Cape Town's like nice beaches, nice mountains, nice things like that. And honestly, the more I travel, the more I'm like, Cape Town is the best place in the entire world.
Wow.
Just because like, okay, obviously I grew up there, so I love it. But like within an hour, you can get surfing, motocrossing, mountain biking, beaching, nice restaurants, hiking, huge parties. Like there's everything you can do in 1 hour. And it's also, unlike the UK, absolutely banging weather for about 10 months of the year.
Is it? Yeah.
So it's like
sold, dude. Sounds good.
Yeah, let's go.
And
Let's get in the transit. We'll go back.
they use a currency called the rand, which is 20 to 1 to your UK pound. So that's why every UK person goes over to South Africa and it's like, what? It's
Really?
a £1.50 for beer. Yeah. Whoa. I love it. Like all
That's
food,
crazy.
restaurants, everything is like honestly a quarter of the price of Europe and
Right.
all of that stuff. So
Okay.
I also love it for that.
I think the first time I went, I'm not very good on the fly at doing conversions with numbers. Are you good at it?
No, that's why Europe gets expensive.
Yeah. Well, I got home and I looked at I thought I'd spent way more, and I was like buying. I think I was there on behalf of DMR or something. I can't remember what it was, and I was buying meals, and I was thinking, this is going to be an embarrassing bill to put in. This is going to be a tough expense, and I filled it out. I was like, wow,
So good.
so good.
That's
yeah.
cool. But do the wages kind of reflect it if you live there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
You know
So
what I mean?
yeah.
It's
So
not
no,
like
if you
people are
live
just
there, it's like more or less, yeah. If you come there with £1, it's like, whoa, yeah,
No
boy.
No way. So it's mint for you to come here.
Yeah. Well, no. Tough for me to come here, but luckily I kind of earn a couple euros,
Yeah.
things like that. So
Yeah.
it's quite nice to live
That's
in Cape
what I
Town.
meant. Sorry. Not because you come here and it's cheap. All the way. Yeah. Okay. All right.
So you were just racing in the local. There's still a big gap. How do you go from racing in the local race scene
I'll
to
give you
racing, for instance, World Cups?
Yes, I'll give you a one-on-one, okay? I've been
Please.
riding bikes for, since I was literally 2.5, literally
Yeah.
just around the street with, my brother, my neighbor, and all of that, riding bikes from when I was way younger. I used to race a little bit of 50cc motocross and 65, I kind of went to, 65cc motocross, and then, the moto dads get a bit hectic. And, it started getting, pretty all-in on, are you going to do this? And be and then at that point, school sport was still pretty fun. And I was loving playing rugby and stuff like that. And then at a point, my dad was like, okay, we either going to go all in on motocross if you absolutely love it, or let's just chill. So then I played school sports for pretty long time. And then still all the while riding bicycles, in and around, stuff like that. And then when I got the downhill bike, started racing more. And then I guess when Needles and Minnaar are they're cornerstones for our country and racing and stuff like that. So I think it would have been really helpful. It is really helpful to see Minnaar and Needles overseas racing and be okay, it is possible for a South African person to make the jump and go race overseas and do that kind of a thing. So from there, you're okay, I'll race it and stuff like that. And then I'm trying to think now, but yeah, basically rode bikes and just raced our local series and national series and stuff like that. Luckily I had some pretty cool good people in my age groups growing up, so that I was trying to push to race and stuff like that. And then I just loved riding bikes, but then my mom was a fucking school teacher, so I had she was I was I want to go ride bikes straight after school, and she was that sounds pretty risky. So I actually finished school and did university at a really good university in South Africa. Got a business degree, and during that, it's a 3-year business degree out of Stellenbosch University, a really good university. And in Stellenbosch, there's good mountain biking there. And I honestly hated getting that degree so much that you wouldn't believe how motivated I was to ride bikes after that.
Yeah.
So every time I was I don't know, studying and learning some horrific accounting crap, I was just looking at Pink Bike and this and that, just seeing people racing overseas and stuff like that. So that whole thing, I was just watching the international scene and you and Olly and Brendan and those guys fucking riding and being that's the sickest thing ever. Pack away that laptop, now back to accounting. So after that, I was okay, I just want to go ride my bike. And luckily, a good mate of mine, Duran, had been to Moorzine a few times and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he was look, bro, if you are willing, you want to ride your bike, let me take you to Moorzine and we'll ride bikes. So that was kind of my gap year kind of thing.
Right.
So, and that was, that was a humble beginning. So we went, me, Duran, and another South African guy stayed in a Citroen van for 3 months in Morzine. So obviously we were like at that point it was like, okay, we're not going to like, everything was in euros. So we're like trying to keep everything cheap. So Duran, and he's also like, he can do things cheap. And he was like, listen, all you need is to book a flight here, buy a lift pass for this much. We'll buy a van, we'll stay in van. That's like, because once you kind of know like the cost, then it's like, okay, it's attainable.
We'll eat
let's
noodles.
do it. Yeah, literally. And so the first year, I literally was just like, finished university. I was like, okay, I hated every second of that. Let's go ride. And just went to Morzine for one summer when I was like, just out of university. Would have been 21 or so.
So that must have been quite different because you, like, obviously where you grew up, it was like pretty dry, rocky, dusty. And then you're riding roots and mud.
And 1,000 vert.
Yeah.
Hectic, steep stuff and all of that. But luckily, like, by that point, I was, like, dying to ride some proper stuff, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So then, I went over there for Morzine and I was just, like, every single day, just riding every single day. And, like, that... It helps a lot because I feel like a lot of South Africans now go overseas and they're like, oh, we're going to go straight to the World Cup. And you're like, dude, you need to, like, the bridge between what we do locally and what Fort William is. You can't be like, oh, I'm sick at local racing. Fort William's the next stop. Like, you need to, like, so it actually helped to just go there for, like, and we were on South African passports then, so we had 90 days. So it was just like, here we have 90 days in Morzine. Let's maximize every bit of riding we can do. And then I just rode like 1 or 2 little Swiss IXS cups and stuff like that. And just rode every single day. And at that point, I was frothing. That's like the first bit of international riding I've done. I'm just every day, like Chatel, Swiss side, Morzine, Plainy, just riding. And even like at the time, I was also like just trying to learn how to get better.
Yeah.
And Husky, Laurie's mechanic, was working in a bike shop there. And he was like king of Plainy at that point. And literally every day I just go to him on his lunch break and like park outside his shop and just be like, Husky, I'd like to follow you, please. And he'd just come up from lunch and bomb down like these insane secret trails around Morzine. And I would just like try my hardest to hold on to his back wheel. And that's kind of where I learned to like bridge the gap between like South African riding and European riding. And then the next year did it again in a transit with like... I love a guy named Jasper. He's an amazing guy, but he was not a good guy to stay in a van with. He didn't believe in soap or shampoo or shoes or anything. And I slept head to toe with him in a transit for another season, just trying to, because I didn't have like, it's not as though I had like any sponsors or anything at that point. So I was doing everything on bare costs ever. Yeah. And at that point, I didn't have money for a van or anything. So I just said, like, his dad was like, he was too young to drive. So he was like, if you get in the van and like drive Jasper around for the summer, you can like stay in the van. I was like, bingo, there's the shot. But he was quite smelly. So it's really tough summer. But and then I tried to do a little more like IXS cups and French cups and stuff like that, just to get a little bit more racing experience.
Yeah.
And then only like the next year started getting into World Cups and stuff like that and started racing those.
You were doing well at the IXS ones and stuff.
Not like insanely well, not like showstoppers or whatever, but like learning at every point.
Yeah, like getting better and better.
Yeah, definitely not like out the back end, but like still, you know, let's say top 10s and things like that. So like it was there and I knew I had speed, but like it was always tough. So, and then the next year I was like, I had a bit of cash and I bought my own transit van. And I was like, here I am balling. And then from there, tried to do a couple more races, slowly got into the World Cups and stuff like that. And then actually the free racer jump from there was, I was doing that stuff. And then Sam came in and he originally did 2 DarkFests in Neisner up the coast.
I went to that one, yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
That was also insane at the time.
That was like hardtaily, wasn't it? It was like right on the border of being a big bike.
I think it was pretty much past the border, but by that point they'd flown in with the hardtails.
I mean, my experience of it was past. It was definitely, I didn't have enough travel.
So I think the year after that, they were like, okay, these hardtails are getting pretty hectic now for these jumps that we want to build these jumps that big, but now these bikes are really hard.
Yeah, yeah.
So then like even...
Dude, what is it like having DarkFest turn up at your...
Yes.
town. Like, I can't imagine it here. Like, an event like that just coming to your town.
Yeah.
Outrageous. Yeah. Outrageous. So they did it 1 year and nobody really knew about it because it kind of just, they built it happened and we saw like the video and we're like, that's insane. I didn't even know that was kind of going on. And then the next year they had it again. I kind of just went up there by myself and like rode around the trail park, just like being like, hey guys, like I'll help you out if you ever need, like, and kind of got to know the guys a bit there. And then the third year or whatever, then they started doing it in Stellenbosch. And then that was like right where I was studying in the garden. And I was like, all right, Sam, I want to help you with whatever you need to do. Because like at that point in South Africa, you are just dying for like cool jumps and things like that.
Yeah.
And then at that point, if Sam comes to your little village and does that, you're
The
like,
coolest jump.
ever. You're like, I want to be a part of this.
I guess they're quite big though, eh?
Savage. So savage.
Was it a big jump up when you first hit?
Like the most gnarly jump.
Was it? Yeah. But you were motivated.
Yeah, at
Just
that
frothing
point,
for it.
yeah, dying for it. And at that point, when you like go around your local scene saying, "Oh, these jumps aren't big enough. We need to build bigger stuff," and then somebody builds bigger stuff, you're like, you put your money where your mouth is, and you're like, "Okay, well, I better drop in now and do it." But it was good. The first time they were still building it, I think Sam told you they like built it at, I think 60 foot to begin with, and you rolled in off the road. Like from where now you road gap into the 90 footer, you roll in. They used to like roll in off the road just for the testing there, and that was kind of like the what would you call it? Like the threshold of like the next level, because at 60, like a 60 foot jump is still big, especially
jump.
I was like, I don't know, 20s, like young 20s, and I was like, I was stressing about that first hit.
Because I mean, as soon as you attach numbers, you can literally like quantify the jump. You know, like you're like, well, I've ridden a 40-foot jump into J once.
So luckily I'd been to like, that was like helpful, that I'd been to like Chatel and stuff like that, and ridden some bigger stuff there, so I kind of knew how to ride big stuff. And then at that point, then we rode the 60 footer there, and then I was like, they were like, okay, you can ride, you thinking things through, and like you're not just like bing, like let's go, and just like you're gonna hurt yourself kind of thing. Like they could see I was calculating it, thinking about it, like knowing kind of what to do, and then like hit the jump all good. So then that was, for me, that was like that was the most stressful first hit of all time.
I bet.
Were all the riding crew that you were hanging out with similar, or was it just you that was like, I want to do this stuff? Do you know what I mean?
I think there was a couple guys that were like pretty keen on big stuff. But I don't think anyone that was that frothing on it, if that makes sense.
Just you.
And also like had the time to hang out with them at the time, be like, hey guys, I will help you build. Let's, do like, I want to get involved. You know what I mean? Like most people had like, couldn't like, take the morning off kind of thing. So it was hectic.
Do
you think it helped being like a racer and thinking about stuff more?
I think so.
You're full on racing at that point. You were just all in trying to be a World Cup racer.
Yeah, because even like at that point, like a Brendog career path wasn't really a thing. Like Brendog kind of like pulled out like, hey guys, I'm gonna race and do cool videos and do some jumps and do that. Like I'm sure back in the day when it was just broadcast racing, it was like Needles zone, like just like racer results. So that's obviously, if you grow up that's all you know, then you're just like, okay, I'm just gonna race. But I don't particularly love racing.
When just to unpack before what you were talking about, when did you actually decide, right, I'm gonna follow the mountain bike path? Because you did a business degree, which is gnarly in itself, right? Like why did you do mountain bike? Like when did you choose to do that?
Probably just because I hated doing that business degree so much. I was like, I don't want to be behind a laptop at a desk so badly that I'd rather sail myself off a 60 footer than do this.
Sail myself.
But I think just like from when I was growing up, like amongst all the different sports and things I did, mountain biking is just like the best thing ever. Like still to this day, I froth for mountain biking because I don't know, I just feel like it's such a unique sport where you can like, it doesn't get boring. I usually like when you're younger, you get bored of sports quite quickly. You're like, okay, like rugby, hockey, okay, cool. Like I kind of got hockey now. So, whereas mountain biking, it's so, you can keep it fresh so often that like, imagine if you're an Olympic swimmer Mate, you go to the same
Dude.
swimming pool every day. You
Yeah,
do the
same
same
length.
laps every day. You do the
Yeah.
same, like, it's so boring to train. Whereas if you're a mountain biker, there's just unique trails all across the globe. And you can just, like, every fresh trail is sick to ride. So I was just frothing on mountain bikes from
So cool.
like any, and obviously when you're in Cape Town and you're riding the same boring trail all the time and you see people doing videos in Whistler and New Zealand and this, you like, I just want to go and ride everything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think what you said earlier as well, like the importance of like people like Needles and Minnaar, like it means so much, doesn't it? Like even for the UK,
see it's possible.
Yeah, like PT and Warner, we
Yeah.
wouldn't have had all of the talent afterwards. Like it takes
100%.
someone to do it first. I can't almost
yeah.
imagine doing it first. Like
Oh yeah, there's no like even kind of map to doing it or
Yeah.
anything like that. Or even if you go to your parents being like, oh, I'm going to be a professional mountain bike, they're like, show me one other person from this country who's earning money from riding their bike. It's not possible.
Yeah.
Even my parents, when I was like, no, I'm going to be a professional, they were like, mate, you're not going to earn money from mountain bikes. Like the first time I got like an actual paycheck, I showed my dad. I was like, look at this. They paid me. And he was like, no ways, man. Like, no
Aw.
ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because my dad's like hardcore, runs a factory, like works incredibly hard on like, you know, just like machinery, like hardcore industry. And he was like, no, like they actually like the value I bring to a brand.
Yeah.
Value you bring to a brand. Like, you do nothing, mate. Like, he was just like, what are you, like, you talking nonsense, dude. So, like, because obviously they had no clue of mountain biking before I kind of did it.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, so take somebody, and even for your parents to be like, okay, Greg Minnaar, South Africa, and he does something overseas, kind of must be possible. Meet Needles at a local race. He looks like he's not like a crack addict. You know, like, he looks like he's actually
Great
like,
role model,
like,
Andrew Neethling.
yeah, he looks really like a nice guy. He must, okay, so like, I don't think without those few guys, it would have been possible at all.
Right. Interesting. I think it's made way harder being from South Africa.
Yeah, dude, holy.
Just because everything's over here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like even to like, so many things, but like even just to like all the UK guys, let's say you live in the UK and you want to race mountain bikes, you can buy a van here, you park it in your driveway, do it up with your dad, park it, order stocks, put in tires. The first time I went overseas to race, mate, oh, horrible. The first time I went to like Leergang World Cup, I had like no clue, dude. I
Really?
literally drove in. My mom booked me an Airbnb like down the road. I had like a bag with like that I traveled in with like some spares, some goggles, like a pump, Allen keys and stuff. And I literally like pedaled to Leergang pits and popped a bag at a lamppost that looked kind of safe and went up for practice. Like you
Yeah,
literally,
yeah.
like in the UK, you could dial out your van, get spares in it, drive. Even just, I can't fly with spare wheels and stuff like that. Like in the beginning, now it's like that I've know better and I can order stuff to stuff. It's a bit easier.
Yeah.
But like in the beginning, you can't fly with spare wheels and do things like that. So it's like so much harder. Even I think like from where I realized it was really going to be tough was like when you go to like, let's say French, like if you're a really good French rider and you're riding French Cups from when you're like 14 years old,
Yeah.
if you're showing a little bit of talent there's already team manager-ish kind of
Yeah,
people saying
people.
like, he's pretty good. Okay. Like, okay, well, maybe we've got like even, it's not a team, but it's like a little team or whatever. Like you can,
Just even cheap parts,
yeah, like
something.
we'll help you at the races, do this. Then you're doing French Cups from when you're like 14 years old, 15 years old. Then you meet somebody just before you junior, and then you're like, okay, this kid's really talented. So like, I literally went from like full nothing to like 21 or 2, and then be like, okay, now jumping overseas. Now I'm going to try to do something at races. Then it's like really, really, really difficult. Whereas now, like, if you're in France or Europe or the UK, people can scout you from ages
Yeah.
away and be like, okay, this kid's got a bit of talent. Let's put him on some more like flow program and do something like that.
Yeah.
There's lots of things as well that are more difficult, like even just getting a mech hanger for your bike.
Oh my God, yeah.
Super hard in South Africa, right?
Yeah.
I didn't
Really?
realise this until...
No, like
yeah.
nothing in South Africa is gravity orientated. Everything,
Yeah.
we've got a massive marathon scene and cross country racing. We've got a couple really good cross country races. And I mean, like, fair enough. Like we don't have the Alps, like and stuff like that. So most people just enjoy normal casual mountain biking there. So like, yeah, dude, you can't get Saint stuff or like even like downhill casing tires are always a pain in the butt to get there. Like you can't get anything Saint or like now it's getting better and better that you can get downhill stuff here and there,
Yeah.
but it's still like you can't walk into a bike shop. Like that's why I even walk into bike shops and like when I walk into MB cycles and stuff, I'm like, oh, cool things. Oh, like, you know what I mean? You just don't get cool like gravity stuff
way.
there. It's just not massive there yet.
Is it like the tax or something?
No, it's just like the greater market is just general
not
mountain bike
Okay,
punters.
there you go. It's just market based.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
How interesting. I thought it was something
But
like,
it's-
Chain Reaction didn't post there or something like that.
No,
back in
we
the
used
day.
to live off chain reaction.
Yeah. So they were the only people that. Yeah. Okay. Right. Got you.
So then now, like nowadays, yeah, it's getting them. Like now that enduro bikes are so big, and enduro is quite a big thing. Like now everyone's getting more enduro and be like, hey, actually rattling down on this horrible little XC bike is actually not enjoyable. Let's maybe get some big beefier suspension and stuff. So now enduro is getting better and stuff like that.
Mate, it's true, isn't it? It's like any country you go in, it's like if you just say mountain biking, what does it mean? And like a lot of places, it means cross country. Like not
yeah.
here. You have to be aware you're like in a bubble, don't you? I didn't realise at all.
Yeah.
But like now, at least enduro is sort of like what I feel like it's the definition of mountain biking. I don't know.
Yeah, it's-
More so than ever.
yeah. We probably quite a niche market, but I'd say enduro is mountain biking. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say so.
Yeah, I'm sure many people would argue it's just like what people do in country lanes on like a bike with a fork, and they're like, "Well,
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
mountain
yeah.
bike. It's not on the road. It's on a country lane."
Yeah. Exactly.
Hey, this is fascinating, but we should just have a quick break.
Let's have a break. Let's calm it down.
Just a quick
bit.
break.
Yeah, a quick
right?
break. Yeah.
All right, let's do a break.
Davey, I want to talk to you about hindsight, dude.
Oh,
Right.
hindsight.
So much bike crime happens in the UK,
Mm.
and I dread to think how many people think, oh, I listened to that LAKA ad on the Ride Companion, and I wish I'd just carried it out, got insurance for my bike.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely, mate. You're right. So we're here to help, are we? Or is that what we're going to do?
Well, we are here to help, but
Yeah.
what I was kind of thinking was, I wish I could do the same with health insurance. You know what I mean? Because I'm banged up. I wish I could have just...
Yeah, shoulda, woulda, coulda.
That's how I feel right
A lot
now.
of people live shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah, and so many people do with bike theft and like I am right now, wishing
Hindsight
that
is a gnarly thing, isn't it?
It is,
Sometimes
dude,
you're like,
yeah.
let's say, unfortunately, you have a bike stolen or you get injured and you just think, oh, imagine that time when I was sat in a chair
yeah,
on the website
yeah,
ready to do it, and all I needed was maybe like a bit of a nudge, a bit of a deal,
yeah.
which we can offer.
Well, for bikes, obviously,
Yeah.
you go to LAKA. What do you do for health? Because that's obviously
Well, yes, you can also go to LAKA. I didn't know this either until recently, dude, but LAKA now offers health and recovery insurance. So,
What?
do you want a couple of facts?
I'd love a couple of facts. It's not already in my bike cover, is it?
It could be. Depends which bike cover you've got.
Okay,
It
carry
could
on.
be. So it's a new kind of recovery policy for mind and body,
Right.
made with cyclists in mind for less than an Americano a week. Depends where you get your Americanos from.
They're only like
What? A couple of quid?
a couple of quid.
Cover that goes wherever you do, which is worldwide, like you, Mr. Worldwide.
Oh, thank
The
goodness. I didn't want
pitbull of
to.
mountain biking.
I didn't want to ask a question.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks for doing. answering.
Cover that does whatever you do, which is cycling. You.
I like cycling. Yeah.
Skiing.
Not got the bunts for
Maybe.
skiing, but maybe one day. You never know.
Hiking.
Hiking, I like hiking.
Like
I've been doing a
hiking.
lot of it lately. I'll tell you.
Surfing.
Surfing, I'd love to be able to
Big
surf, but I
surf
need to
guy.
swim first.
Yeah.
But it's good to know.
And jet skiing.
Jet skiing's on there. Are you serious?
Yeah, you got a jet ski.
They put jet ski on there.
Yeah, you got a jet ski on there.
God.
It's 5-star claims experience, home or abroad. And it's made super simple, dude. All you have to do, head to laka.co. Obviously, we talk about laka.co quite a lot.
Laka.co.
They do the best bike insurance. It's made super simple. They flipped insurance on its head, okay?
Mm-hmm.
They don't charge you a fixed sum every month. You only pay for what the collective has sort of, what would you say?
Dealt with.
Yes, exactly. So you
And the
pay-
same goes for health as well, does it?
Same goes for health as well, does it?
Wow,
Yes, it
that
does.
is a cool model, that is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really cool. It's mate, I love LAKA.co. I'm glad we've got them back on board.
Mm.
And we have got a bit of a deal for the companionship, right? So all they have to do, head to LAKA.co to sort your bike insurance out. Enter the code Ride Companion 30. What is it?
Ride Companion 30, is that lowercase?
Uppercase.
All
And it's
up.
on screen. It's flashing red and blue.
Oh, yeah.
That's Ride Companion 30. at LAKA.co.
There you go. And what do you get for that? What is it like? What's the offer?
You're going to get 30 days free bike insurance.
Free
So for 30 days.
It's free.
30 days, you have 100% peace of mind for free. Man, it's a dream, really, isn't it?
It's really good.
Yeah.
You could be really cavalier.
Yeah,
in
you
those
can.
30 days.
Yeah, you shouldn't be.
No. Yeah. Good point.
But you could. So yeah, that's 30 days, free insurance, bike insurance, not health and wellness, with code Ride Companion 30. That's flashing red and blue at LAKA.co.
Amazing. So good to know they do health insurance. I'm going to get that added onto my policy right away.
Great ad.
Hell of an ad. That was a good ad, wasn't it? That was a good
one.
ad.
That was a really good ad. I enjoyed that one.
Right, so
Where were we
you're
talking about?
balancing, like World Cups take a lot of training, right?
Yeah, they do.
They do, but you're training for World Cups, but you're also doing really big jumps.
Yeah.
How does that work then?
Well, I feel like any training is good training. It's not as though like World Cup train, like you need to like if you fit and strong and got good muscles, it's not going to hurt you at like like an event like that.
Yeah.
So like, you just try, train and ride as much as you can.
Yeah.
But I suppose the more you go ride at different places and stuff like that, that's just all training for jumps and stuff like that. But as Sam says, you can't train for DarkFest. Like there's nowhere else in the world that you can ride those jumps. So it's just once a year, you got to pucker up and just sail it through for the first run. And then you're like, okay, we got it.
Yeah.
Why, might be a stupid question, but if the jumps are there and you live there, why are they not just like a little bit maintained? Just the odd session.
It is a good question, and I tried it. The first year they did DarkFest, and Sam and Nico and Clemens came and built it.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, this is like, I'm gonna ride this all the time. I'm gonna be so good at big jumps. This is in my back garden. Why would you not, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it is a job and a half,
Really?
because if you we used to do it in February, midsummer,
Yeah.
you have to water that whole jump line. So like even when they left the weekend after, when I was still like, I don't know, 22, whatever, I went there and by myself in a Land Cruiser with a Bowser on the back, watered the entire jump line all the way down to the bottom, and then drove all the way back up by myself at the top. But like those jumps are not like, it sounds like you're making a drama queen, but like they are really big.
Yeah, it's not a session on your own.
So like even when you there at the event, like there's medics on standby, ready to go. There's walkie-talkies the whole way down the course, and everyone at the top, you might have seen everyone at the top has got a walkie. There's a guy at the top of the walkie, and you go, hey dude, give me a wind check at the 90, give me a wind check at the rockets. Just stand at the top by yourself and just be like, hopefully the jumps are good. And sail and that was still in February when the wind was pretty kiak, so it was going to be windy. But like I tried after that to go and like ride them by myself, and like by the time you've walked, like because then you got to wake up at 6 because the wind's less in the morning.
Yeah.
Water the jumps, that takes a good 45 minutes. Back up to the top, kit up, get ready to the top. You don't even I didn't even have a guy to shuttle me. Pushing up, and then you do one lap, and then you're like, is it worth it? It's windy already.
Yeah.
So like I thought I really wanted to, and it is like that, but honestly, with those jumps are so big, you need a little bit of peer pressure to be like, okay, boys, we're dropping in or something like that. Because even at the end of the week, when you like have ridden the jump 10 times, I promise you, still at the top of the hill, like.
Yeah. I'd worry as well if you could be someone that could make that your normality. If you could make that like what you get up at breakfast and you're like, I think I might go and ride the 110 today. Like, what sort of person would you be? If you made that your normal, whoa. True.
I promise you, every trail sucks after that. If that's your normal.
Is that so? Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, you do DarkFest, then I was riding in Queenstown. I was like, that's kind of cool.
Really? Yeah.
The bar's too high.
They are like the most unbelievably sick jumps you can imagine. Mint, freshly watered, freshly packed the week before, like juicy with all of like your boys, like, 10, 15, 20 of the sickest riders in the world.
Yeah.
And then you like go ride like a bike park. You're like, this is kind of cack.
Really? So talk me through the run, what it feels like to hit DarkFest. Like the run, the most recent run.
Oh, didn't you tested them all this year
Yeah.
too, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was scary.
Yeah,
That
no
was
doubt.
so scary.
No doubt.
Obviously now, like when Sam always comes over for the build and we do the build, and that's honestly such a vibe because everyone's just hanging out, like riding every now and again. And then Sam bloody blew out his ankle. And honestly, he joking, I didn't know he was joking, but he like blew out his ankle and flew home and was like, haha, now you have to test the jumps. And I was like, shit, dude, like, shit. And I was like, okay, yeah, I guess I do. And I was like, to be honest, I felt kind of confident. Like I've ridden there for a few years now. I know how to ride the jumps. But it is always so scary, especially when you take 11 months off and then you go back to the jumps. It's so scary. And then, like, I did all the testing. And then when he got back, he was like, dude, I was kidding. Like, what did you think? And I was like, Sam, dude, it was stressing, dude. But it was freaking scary. Honestly, like, you need a bit of peer pressure. Let's call it camaraderie. But you need somebody there to be like bouncing ideas off. Luckily, Justin and Duran, the Trailblazers there, like I know them really well, so I can like bounce stuff with them. But honestly, going up there by yourself is so scary. And okay, I feel like I've got like a little bit of a conservative bone in my body, if you know what I mean. Like I'm not like a let's go check it, send it kind of crazy like Tom Eistead, Hodgie kind of guy. Like I'm actually studied risk versus reward at university for 3 years. Unfortunately, know that it's just like DarkFest is not the place for risk and reward. So, but it was cool. I'm sure everyone kind of saw like the videos on Sam's channel and stuff like that. And I even felt like such a wuss because CA was editing it and like we tested it that day and the next day he was like showing me this. I was like, dude, CA, I look like such a pansy. Like I'm like stressing about the jump stuff. Like I've hit it before. Like obviously this is me hitting it and clearing the line. So I'm like, oh dude, I look like such a wuss. Because especially somebody like Tom Eistead or Hodgie just comes there and they go, all right, man. They just do it. Whereas I was like, oh, Justin, how about the lip? And how about this? And how about that? And then luckily he was like, dude, like, not everyone in the world is Tom Eistead. So just actually, like, a lot of people will be quite interested to see that you are stressing about it. And I guess it was quite good because I was fucking stressing about it. It wasn't made up at all.
It's hard to watch a top to bottom run and it's perfect and they do it fine. And it's hard to even imagine the stress. That's the problem with like doing things well is that it that just sort of looks a lot easier than maybe it is. Like,
dude, I actually think there's like such a funny one with DarkFest because a lot of people look at DarkFest and they're like, dude, those jumps are banging. Like I can ride those kind of thing. Like, I think I can get that kind of thing. And I feel like there's like 3 stages to DarkFest. Like one, looking at it on the internet, being like, whoa, those jumps are huge, but they look pretty good. Yeah. Bearing in mind, you have like 20 of the world's best riders doing them. So of course they look chilled because everyone's so good at riding. So then obviously it looks good. Second thing is getting there in person and looking at them in person. Because even like CA, who's edited Sam's vlogs and all that, got there in person, was like, this is hectic. Like he was like, this looks nothing like it does on the internet. This is wildly big. And then getting up there with your knee guards and helmet on and being like, it's time to drop in. That third stage is really stressful. So often people are like, DarkFest is easier. I'm like, dude, I don't know. I think you need to get up there with your knee guards on in front of a 90-footer and be like, whoa.
At 6 in the morning in the windbreak.
Yeah, literally at 6:30 in the morning. Dude, DarkFest, you wake up. Like that week is so stressful because as soon as you rise, you look out the window at the trees and you see if the leaves are blowing and you're like, the leaves aren't blowing. It's time. And you're like, okay, it's go time. It's so stressful. So but I kind of ridden them for a while now. So it's kind of know them, but like even Sam will say like, there's no like, I'll just session those jumps. Like, every time you're at the top and you drop in, it's like, focus, like let's go. Because like if you just lose focus for a second, it's not as though you have like a little roasty. It's like trouble.
So out of the gate, there's like the shark finny ones.
Yeah.
Are they sort of like, in my head, they're like to relax you a little bit, right? But they're still big jumps.
The shark finny ones are actually so tech that you drop in on them and you feel like the worst riding you've ever done because they're so tech. You're like, tonk, 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 tonk. Whoa, dude, this boat, like, I don't know what I'm doing. So actually, but they are good. Like, if you just straight drop into 90, it'd be horrific. So it is nice to go like press, pull up, and then you like, once you do that road gap into the 90, usually I'll do like 1 or 2 like shark fins, jump over the road gap, roll into the 90 and kind of like visualize it, like go off the lip, like kind of see what you're going to do. Well, feel what you're going to do. And then I'll go up again and then I'll be like, I'll do another practice lap. And then because there's a certain threshold in that run in where if you're not on the brakes, you're in. So like, and then I'll just land and be like, and then be like, okay, you're in now, boy, just survive.
And at that pace, it's just like, you know that if you land, you're off the brakes, you know that you're approximately ballpark. Yeah, ballpark, yeah. The jumps are really well made. Like, honestly, you brake a little bit into the first shark fin left, and then I'm a little bit heavier, so just before the road gap, I might do a little touch, but pretty much those jumps, you can drop in at the top, brake, first shark fin, and you don't touch the brakes from there to the last rocket launcher. Wow, which is like, for a set of jumps that is like massive and like all the way down and in and around a valley, really says a lot about the builders who made them, because it's like so well made. Oh. So then you're in at 90 and you know your ballpark and you hit the lip. What does a pull do? What does a push through do? What are you thinking?
At that point, you just like don't do a huge Ronnie or like don't just tips up. At that point, I land. I'm like tips up. Keep that front wheel high. We can survive anything with the front wheel up, but down you are in trouble. And then even from that, you land, commit, look at the lip, go, keep the front up. And then I always kind of forget to look at the twisty wizard in the hip. Yeah. And then honestly, you like in the air of the 90 and you're like, okay, I've survived that. And as you land, you're like, okay, wait, shit, twisty wizard hip, let's go. And then you like, by that, you like that twisty wizard is quite a tricky, quite a tricky jump. Survive that. The hip, I think, is honestly one of the most tech jumps on the course because it is like super tight radius lip. You can't see the landing at all. You can just aim for a bit of the knuckle and you have to jump a little bit right of the knuckle to get the sweet spot in the landing, which is a bit counterintuitive. And then, so honestly, if you survive the hip, you can have a touch of a breather into the step up and then touch of a breather into the rockets. Okay, yeah. But the rockets are hectic as well. Like when you drop into them, everything in your mind says no. Like, really? Because you are like, you go big drop, get so much speed, do like a, 15 meter long and low, like racer jump into it. And that it's a long, like the 90, you like shoof into the lip. Yeah. Whereas the rockets, it's quite a long run into it. And you are going so fast, like 70-ish Ks an hour, 75-ish Ks an hour. And you're looking up into the rocket. And the lip is not a lip, it's a wall. It's so huge. Yeah. And your brain's like, dude, if you hit this now, you're going to die. You're going to go like to Elon Musk zone. Like, and honestly, if you think about touching the brakes, you case it. So you have to just be like, and just sail it over. And it's possibly one of the best made jumps in the world. So that you literally just gun into it and you almost can't go too long. The landing's so nice and long. I mean, a lot of people have gone long on it, but like hectic. But it's, a really, really well made jump. So you kind of can just commit into it and be like, no, like let's just commit and do it. And then once you land the first rocket, you're like, okay, I've survived. The speed will be good for the second one. Land the second one. And those boys can take their crack cocaine and heroin. That is the best feeling in the entire world. Surviving that line for the first hit is the best thing in the world. You are just like, I always have GoPros doing the worst noises and shit out of my mouth. I'm just like, like levitating with like adrenaline and excitement. And that's what keeps you coming back.
There you go. And that's probably what makes the week after quite difficult.
Literally. The week after you'll go ride your local trail and you like want to die. It's so crap.
How does it compare to World Cup?
Dude, World Cups also, I'd actually say World Cups are more dangerous and kind of more scary.
Interesting.
Because DarkFest, it's a minute lap,
Yeah.
but it's not like, it's physically demanding because you're doing like big squats into the radius of the lips and stuff like that. And it's like the consequences are really hectic, but you're feeling kind of fresh. Dude, like World Cups are actually so low-key dangerous, it's insane. Because some World Cups, you'll go to Val de Sol, you do a track walk in the dry, you do your whole practice in the dry, you do your morning of qualifying practice in the dry, and then the heavens will open and it'll be like pissing down rain in the wet, and you're like, well, what do I do now for qualifying? And you just sail into qualifying. You like, and also World Cups, you come in and your arm pump and by the bottom quarter of Val de Sol, I can't feel my hands at all. Yeah. And your body and your brain's like, well, if you like, chill out now, you're not going to qualify, mate. So better keep it going. So you just like, because you're so fatigued, you don't actually, like, you're not got good control of your hands and bars and stuff. It's so easy to just put your wheel over a rock and just slam your face into the floor or something like that. Like, it's actually so risky, especially when you bring in the changing weather conditions and stuff like that. Like riding, I promise you, Val de Sol is the gnarliest thing in the world. And then when when it rains and you've not practiced it in the rain, it is like so sketchy. It's just 4 minutes of spider routes off campers. And they're like, on your marks, get set, go. And you're like, dude.
And all so high pace.
Yeah, high pace. If you even just think about chilling, you're not qualifying.
That's the case, sir. You've had some good results, sir. You've had, what's your best result? 23rd?
Yeah, something like that, yeah. I had, 23rd, but I had a bit of a sneaky good result at Leger because it was the 1 year where it rained midway through finals. So it was like a good run, and I do usually do better at Leger and stuff like that, but it did rain a bit through finals. But like even last year, I did like a 19th at the semi and then like a 26th at Leger final, which was probably the best result because that was all complete good conditions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the pace is fairly high at World Cups these days.
Dude, off the charts, like outrageous. That's also, I have a bit of a sensible bone in my body that says maybe you shouldn't go 12 tenths out of 10, whereas like some French people are just like, I died today. And they're just sailing it down and I don't know, whatever track you want, and you're like, whoa.
I died today.
Like Anton Vidal is just like, I don't care. Do it.
What's your favourite World Cup track?
Definitely Leger.
Why?
Because it is just the vibe at Leger is also sick because the French fans go insane there. The track is also just so sick because it's like wide open, like it's just, the first year they did it really there, they just taped through a forest, and you honestly would have looked at the track building crew and been like, what have you boys done? Like, you've literally taped us through a forest. And that is the sickest thing to do because it was like 10 meters wide in the forest section at the top, fresh loam everywhere. You don't know where the roots are going to appear from. You don't know what rut's going to blow out. And then the whole week, the track's just like adapting and changing and like getting like better. And like, you know what I mean? Like there's a whole lot more to focus on. Leger is also nice and like 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes track, which is quite good for my fitness levels instead of like a Fort William 4.5 minute pedal session. So I love like a nice, cool, like obviously we don't have 4 minute tracks in South Africa, so I'm pretty good at like shorter tracks, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Did you race Fort William?
No.
Okay. Is that we're not talking about Fort William?
Many people may have wondered why I wasn't there. But,
definitely.
I just hate the place.
That's fair,
Rocky, physical, rainy, wet, like just so not a place for South Africans
and it
to
sounds
excel.
like you just do what's fun, and if it's not fun, what are we doing?
To be fair, also like it's not as though I'm on like a race team where like somebody's crafted a budget for the year and they're like Fort Williams in the budget. I just kind of get a bit of money from people and they're like, do something of value with it. So if I kind of know by like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years of racing now that I suck at Fort William, like I'm not going to fly in early, spend like $2,000 going to Fort William, staying in a crappy transit van in the rain, and then not qualifying at like 80th and being like, oh, well, I kind of knew that was going to happen. Thanks for wasting $2,000. Like now I'm like, let me actually just pick the good races where I kind of know I'm going to do well at.
Makes total sense.
Do you think doing those, like doing like the big jump events and doing Hardline take off a bit of pressure World Cup.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So at least I can I started the year by doing DarkFest and then Hardline, going to Queenstown and stuff like that. So it's not as though I'm like just a racer and I go to my brands like, guys, I'm just missing that one. I'm playing golf in Cape Town. They're gonna be like, come on, man. Whereas now I've been like, guys, I've had like a pretty cracking start to the year. Just give me a little moment of silence for William. I promise I'll be at the next one. But honestly, like it's like coming over, like everyone in Europe kind of cross trains and gets conditioned and so ready for the World Cups and stuff like that. Whereas if you come over and like it takes me a bit of time to like taper into European racing. Whereas if you start the first World Cup at Fort William, it's like the most physical, the most like you need like your hands and everything need to be so conditioned.
Yeah.
It's so rocky. It's so rough. Like that's like the worst one to go to. And then if it's your first one, you're like, dude, I'm definitely going to get smoked.
You don't want to set the tone negative.
Yeah,
as well,
and then you're like, man,
like,
102nd place. I suck at riding. You go to the next race, like, oh, I'm 102 rider. You want to just pretend in your mind that you're still like a real good rider.
Has the changes like made it harder for you? Like, if it was top 60 like it used to be, or was it 60 or 80?
It used to be top 80.
Top 80. Would it be a different story, or would you still be like,
Not really, because
No.
like I'd like to not just be qualifying, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Your
yeah.
goal is to like okay, every weekend, everyone actually, but the World Cups are so hectic nowadays. I think everyone in the pits is like, except the protected riders are like, shit, we just need to qualify, and then they're like, poof, okay, now we can race, kind of thing.
yeah.
But like, yeah, I don't think it's
Interesting.
I don't think it makes a huge difference now that it's like 80 or 60. I haven't raced this year now that it's qualifying and semi in one day.
Yeah.
That's quite hectic because even last year I did one semi to final combo, and last year it was like on the same day.
Same morning,
so at least you could like qualify, take a break off, watch some GoPros, do 2 runs practice in the morning, and then go into semi being like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. But even last year, like I did like my best run I could do at Leger semi-final, and then they were like, sick, you made the final, back up to the top of the hill, now you're in finals. And I was like, dude, that's all I got. Like, what do you want? No more practice.
Use that time. It's all
like
good.
you don't get more practice and like more track walk or anything. You literally go down, have a quick snack, and then go back up for final. So obviously if you're Bruni, you can like taper your speed for the weekend. But like when I go to a semi-final, qualifying and semi, I am giving absolutely everything I got. So I laughed last year. I was like, dude, what do I do in this final now? Like, that's all I got, dude. That was the best run I could do.
Is it? Yeah. So it's 100%. There's nothing to be learned in the semi for you.
No.
I've got to say, for me, the semis, I thought as a race fan, it was going to be, it was going to add. I did.
Yeah.
I came in, I was like being positive. I was like, I think the semis are going to add. But I
More stuff to
don't
watch,
know
and it's
now.
not.
For me,
I
I
don't
don't
think
know.
so.
As an armchair viewer, you know, I don't know if it really does add for me personally.
At the moment, I agree with you totally. I think last year it was like too much. It came into a semi, it's going to be, like you say, we tried to be positive. It was like, it's going to be good. We sit and watch it all day. And then the reality of that is you're like, come on.
I think the thing is like, you can't like, for the riders who are like mid-pack, end of the pack riders, for them to qualify, it's like, whoa, like, you know, somebody's qualified, like that's quite cool. But like this, and then those kind of riders don't really do the semi, and like the guys who are going to win, like the Brunis and them, like, then you kind of win a semi, but it's like not really a thing, because like dude, Jackson last year won Monson semi by like 5 seconds or something ridiculous. And it's not like, dude, you just beat everyone by 5 seconds. Let's celebrate that. It's like back up to the top of the hill. You've got to do it again. So I feel like the top guys, they're not really racing for the semi, and it doesn't help like the mid-pack, end-pack riders, because they also just not really So it's like kind of a weird mix of too much racing, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Does your position, like sort of being a bit like aloof or not relying on World Cup results and stuff as much, can you see the difference between those top guys when you watch those top guys ride? Like what is the difference?
I don't even know, but they are insane. Even like, call it like the top 5 are even insane compared to like the top 10 or 15 or 20. You know what I mean? Like from like the top 10 are insane. Like when sometimes I will have raced the track and then I'll see somebody's winning GoPro run and I'm like, whoa, dude, like, whoa, like, how are you doing that kind of thing? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what those guys are doing. Obviously, they're not drinking beers and playing golf in the off season. They're probably doing suspension settings. But like, everything is geared there, and I think they really want it. You know what I mean? Like, they are willing to put a femur on the line to go for it. And
a femur on the line. I gotta say, watching it, I do absolutely love downhill.
Yeah.
Like watching it at Fort William.
Oh, you're in Fort William. Of course, we never spoke about it.
Still, I've watched enough races. I know what's approximately going to happen, but I still see someone in 15th quali, 15th semi, come down, go into the hot seat. I still think no one's going to beat that.
Yeah.
I watch it, I'm like, that can't be any, there's no time in it. And then you watch the next 5 and you're like, whoa, they're skirting around it. He might hold on. And then the top 5 come in and you're talking like 2-second differences, and you're talking like,
yeah, big chunks
it's
of
an
time.
unbelievable sport.
Dude, I watched Ronan's run down, and I've been like with Ronan for a lot in the off season, and I was like convinced. He was training and gymming and training so hard. I was like, Ronan's 100% winning the first World Cup. Nobody knows it, but I know it. Ronan's winning it. And I watched his run, and he was just absolutely slaying down. And I was like, Ronan, my boy, let's go. And like literally went to the hot seat, and you're like, oh my God, like he's won it. He's definitely won it.
It's the one.
He's won it. I even like, and then he comes and he's like, bro, no ways. They're going quicker and quicker and quicker. I think he finished like 12th or 13th. And I was like, dude, I watched he just put a GoPro of his race run up on Instagram the other day. I watched that and I was like, got sick at the thought of going that fast down Fort William. I was like, dude, he came like 12th or 13th. And I was like, while I'm watching it, I'm like, whoa, how are you doing this?
Yeah. Well, talking of Ronan, who just won Hardline.
Oh.
But you're also at Hardline. How does it compare racing a World Cup to now Hardline? That's like a fusion of the two things that are probably your speciality. Eh?
Love Hardline now.
Yeah.
Love Hardline now. It's like, it's so sick.
What do you mean you love it now? Didn't love it
I only just started riding it kind of thing. And often, like it's so cool because it's hard to kind of replicate that at a World Cup, because at a World Cup you have 200 elite men. So it's like at Hardline, when it's, really windy or crap conditions or something like that, like the 20 riders can get together and be like, hey guys, if we ride now, we're just going to F this track up. Let's not ride for this morning. Let's wait until 2 o'clock. We'll let the track drive a bit and then we'll ride. So it's quite like it's amazing to see like the organization and the riders working together to like make it the best riding thing you kind of get.
It feels like it's on your terms almost.
Yes. And like kind of granted, when you're doing jumps and stuff like that, you can't ride it in any conditions. So, but also what I think the World Cup needs way more of is like the tracks that they're making at Hardline now are sick. Like they're putting so much time and effort. Like when we got to Tasmania, you get there and it's the sickest downhill track you can imagine. Like the top is like this fresh, raw, rooty, steepy, droppy thing into like a kind of like crazy middle section with huge drops, into like a fast middle section, into like a crazy big jumps bottom section. And I feel like that's what the World Cups are missing these days. Like instead of going to Leogang for the 5th or 6th year again and then moving a pole and then just being the same lame track, Hardline now is like, it's like a fresh track. It's like the track is, I'm going so off on the track, but like, it's like they've made the track sick so that all of the media and the broadcasting out of it is sick. When like the World Cup do so much on like the press and the riders and this and the broadcast and that, I feel like if they just spent a much more, I don't know what their budgets are, but more budget on making the tracks really, really cool. So each race track is unbelievably fresh and sick. The whole racing, the Vital Raw, the media, the broadcast, all of that would be better out of the World Cup. Whereas we go to Fort William again and the track's the same Fort William track and everyone's seen the photos and seen the videos and knows the lines and knows everything. Whereas if you have like, I think if the UCI just put way more effort into the actual tracks, that's the basis of the racing there. Make the track really cool. The racing will be cool. Everything else out of the event will be cool. Yeah. And like, so that's why, when you go to Leogang for the 7th time, you're like, lame.
It's funny
when you go to Tasmania, you're like, I would never have flown to Tasmania. Like, it's such an out of the world place. But now we're going there. it's a sick track. They've custom made the track, tested it, made sure it's unbelievably sick. And the whole race and everything out of it, all the riders are buzzing, everything's going good. Like, use the track as the base point.
It's interesting to think, like, if Hardline did the same as what the UCI have done, right, and gone, right, it's X amount to watch it now, it's whatever, would people have the same response? I feel like people would back it. They'd be like, actually, no, it is sick to watch. The media is good coming out of it. The whole package is what we want.
Yes.
And people would be into it.
Yes.
The problem is now there's stuff missing out of that broadcast package.
Yeah, I feel like everyone's kind of seen Leogang again, and they know that one of the top 5 guys are going to win, and now you have to pay to watch it. So
Yeah. Interesting to think.
I just think like the UCI need to make the tracks way cooler. Like not like, oh, there needs to be 90-foot jumps at the bottom. Just fresher tracks, more crazy. Like, yeah, it doesn't need to be like huge features and stuff. Just cooler, fresher, more raw tracks, and the racing and everything will be so much better.
All just follows.
Yeah, it'll cascade from there.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, oh, we're gonna nail the broadcast and the PR release and the adverts on Instagram and Facebook and stuff, like, just make the track cool, people will watch. Like, if there's insane racing with people like blowing up ruts and flying out of stuff, it'll be sick. Yeah. People will watch.
With you.
So racing a hardline, what percentage does it feel like DarkFest or a fest series or a jump event, and what percentage does it feel like a World Cup? Like, how much are you racing and how much are you free riding?
That's probably why I like Hardline, because it's actually more of like a chilled vibe. Like, the whole week, everyone's working together, like going through the features, riding together, like feeding off each other. And like, to be honest, the whole week, everyone's like cracking beers throughout the week, chilling, having a good time, chatting shit, you know what I mean? And then, honestly, I forgot that we were a race this year, Hardline Tasmania, until they were like, okay, qualifying tomorrow should be... And I was like, oh, shit. Qualifying? Times? Oh, boy. Because the whole week, also, you're just trying to get, like, cool videos over the jumps and stuff, and then they're like, qualifying. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, God, race this thing.
So then, yeah, and then it's like, it's a much more fun week with everyone who were like, where's it? At World Cups, everyone kind of sticks to their own teams and pits and accommodation and whatever. Hardline, everyone's staying in the same accommodations. You have like a breakfast with like everyone in the same room, lunch with everyone. So it's like much more like morale experience, if you know what I mean.
I guess as well, is it like more of a, both of those things you can picture as like a puzzle that you've got to solve. Like a World Cup racetrack, you've got to solve the puzzle. What's quickest? What is there an element of that with Hardline? It's more like the puzzle is just getting down it.
Yes, kind of. But like, still the boys go fast.
Yeah, no doubt. But like, how? Like, I guess what I mean is like on those big features, how much are you thinking about getting a big feature done and then working out how you can do it the quickest? Or
Yes, it is tough because like a lot of those drops at the top of Tasmania, you always start off like somebody will give you kind of the speed formula and be like, okay, dude, start here, one crank, roll, drop, and then you like always first hits at those places. Like, I just come from DarkFest and I was like, what are they going to throw at me at Hardline? Or whatever. And then I got there and there were these hectic drops and I was like, whoa. And then like, you kind of like, honestly, it takes you a while to get like comfortable and just going in at like chill speed, the right speed, and doing the drops and stuff. And then only later in the week, you're like, okay, now I've got to like cook into this drop, break late, and then go off the drop. That's why I think like somebody like Bernie's pretty good at Hardline Wales, because he's like ridden it for a few years now. He's not like worried about the features and stuff. He's like, okay, how can I cook into this drop and then scrub off it and stuff like that? So like I should probably sharpen up on my skills about how to race that last little bit. But also, you like only after I finished the race and I was like, oh man, I was like 1 point something seconds off 5th place. Man, if I just didn't do that, I could have been, then you like get into a racer mode, you know what I mean? So like the whole week is kind of chilled and then you only start racing. So it's not as fierce as a World Cup, let's say that.
Yeah. Right. How do you win it? How do you win a hardline?
Talk to Ronan Dunn, bro. I don't know. Get your bike to turn up late from the airport and then just
no way.
Sink energy drinks and go down. No, I think you just got to cook down. You've got to take a bit of a World Cup approach to it and be like, okay, how I'm going to do this. Because honestly, like it is like an element of survival. Like you need to really do you need to not have huge crashes on those features and stuff. And like they are hectic. Like I'm sure a lot of people are probably like, oh, Hardline, whatever. And you're like, no, dude, it is really scary. So I should get into more racer mode at Hardline, but
Do you know what I wonder is if there was like a Hardline series that had the same number of stops as a World Cup, that would you feel the same? Is it because it's like almost a novelty? It's not a novelty, but like it's not what you're used to doing. If you had 8 of them in a row, and would it become then?
Yeah, I'm sure you'd become a little bit more like adjusted to it. Yeah, I'm sure.
And then I wonder if it would be more competitive and then the beers would stop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Though?
100%.
Then it just becomes downhill.
Yeah, 100%.
Everyone always talks about that like golden era of every sport. And I always feel like it's like there's like the golden era is like almost it's the point where it's still a bit human. It's still a bit new, a bit human, a bit fun. And then it gets to a point where people are doing like breathing exercises at the top of a World Cup run, and whoa, this has changed a little bit. Like,
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I would still at the basis point, we're going to be racing cooler tracks all around the world, and then like it will just be way better.
yeah, there you go.
How did you we're unpacking a little bit, going back? Who were your first sponsors, and how did you turn this into a career?
Probably. Yeah, like first maybe like paid sponsors, probably like Monster and Common Soul.
It's a pretty big one.
Yeah.
So how did Monster like see?
I was good mates. Like obviously I was in and around the scene in Cape Town, and the Monster guys were all in the scene there, and they could see I knew how to drink a beer and have a good time and race a bike fairly well. And they were like, "Well,
He's one of us.
This is the man." So, but yeah, it was pretty much DarkFest. To be honest, like I owe a hell of a lot to Sam, because I was kind of just like a, mid-pack transit gypsy in Europe, and then did DarkFest, and then I did DarkFest and won SA Champs downhill in the same year. And then when you approach people like, "Oh, I'm the South African champion and I just did DarkFest with Sam," they're like, "Okay, who's this guy? Let's get talking. Let's go from there." So it was pretty much just from like DarkFest, I think, was like the ticket out, if you know what I mean, just to be like, okay, I'm going to do at least one really cool thing a year. Let's get involved kind of thing. So from there, and then you just meet people and here and there, like even like Fox Clothing South Africa was really from the beginning, and then it got to like Fox Europe and stuff like that. So it's actually funny to think back now how it all happened. Stuff like, actually just meeting people and being positive and seeing that you're not like a prawn of a guy, and like, this guy is pretty cool. Yeah, we'll give him some goggles. Yeah, like
You've been on Commensal as well for a while.
Yeah, literally ages now.
Yeah.
Get on really well with Max and the athlete manager Peric.
Rad.
Actually, I think the reason I get on well with Max is actually just because I sunk a whole lot of beers with him at one night, and he was like, "My boy." And from they've like their whole kind of brand culture is amazing. Yeah. Obviously, the bikes they make are like, well, leave it to Amory to do the talking, but really good. And the bikes. Monster's been amazing the whole time, doing fun things with them.
Rad. Yeah. That's a big one to get, isn't it? Like one of the first ones. Signed for Monster.
But that was still like Monster South Africa. It's still like local kind of thing. And like obviously in South Africa, everything's a little bit of a bubble. So like in South Africa, I was a pretty cool guy. But then shortly went to Europe and realized I was outside of the 80th. Thought I'd train a bit harder, get a bit better.
Are you hyped for any particular rounds this year? We've got Poland coming up, right?
Yeah. Poland on Wednesday. I'm always, so even, I don't care what the race or anything looks like, any new track I'm hyped for.
Yeah.
Sick.
You know what I mean? Like,
cool.
it's just like, I've actually now, last night, saw the Poland track on like a heinous POV on Snapchat somehow last night.
What?
Have you? What's it look like? Is this a sneak peek?
Horrific.
Yeah.
I don't know when does this come out?
Before Poland.
Before Poland.
Yeah,
this will be the preview.
This
dude.
is the preview show.
Jackson sent me the POV on Snapchat last night, and I was like, it's funny that Snapchat's now like a,
I didn't know it was still a
an
thing.
integral part of being
I didn't
a
know it's
hookup
still a
rider.
thing.
Well, I think if
People
you're
still
19,
have
it's still a thing. Yeah. And okay, I haven't got there. I haven't ridden it, but mate, it looks like a blue Black Rock track. Like it looks like literally like bike park corners the whole way around. And like not a hell of a lot of tech and maybe like 2.5 minutes. So I'm like a little bit scared of that now that I'm like, oh boy.
Pedal.
But to be fair, you say that any World Cup track that even seems simple in the beginning gets so blown out and chopped up that it actually gets pretty technical. Like even Ludenville last year had like super open, flat grass. Let's say like a grass section where you're like going between bike park tracks and stuff. And 3 hours into first practice, like B practice, the grass corners are like chopped up like a whoop section. There's like a main line, an outside line, an inside line. And they just get like so worked up that like any chill track is going to become tough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a World Cup's a pretty good way of going really quick down anything, isn't it? Like you could have a really mellow track and it becomes dangerous through going quick. Like I don't really ever try and go that quick, but if I do, then it becomes, you're like, even from an amateur
100%.
point of view, you're like, whoa.
That's why I can never really talk. I can be like, oh, the track's boring because like somebody's putting 10 seconds to me. You're like, well, it's not boring when you're doing 80 Ks an hour on the whole thing. So like, even if you have a fire road, it might be boring at 20 Ks an hour, but like Bruni's going to be doing 80 Ks an hour down it, and then it's not boring. So
Yeah,
like,
true.
but yeah, that's
So it's
another
Monday now when we're recording this. When are you headed to Poland?
thing. Wednesday.
Okay,
Quite
driving out.
late on the program.
You driving out?
No, flying
Oh, you're
out.
flying out.
Because
Okay.
the next race after this is Hardline Wales. So I don't want
Okay.
to drive all the way to Poland and then
All
drive
back.
all the way to Wales. So I'll just fly to this one, do Poland, and then fly back.
Right.
But I mean, honestly, any World Cup where there's a fresh venue, fresh track, I'm so keen. Like, because, dude, it's so hard. Even when I was just getting into racing, you go and you try to go to like old school Andorra World Cup track. If everyone's even raced there for like 4 years, if you go to that World Cup and you're 4 years behind the curve, and you try to learn a 4.5 minute insane track in 3 hours of practice, it is so hard. Like Greg Minnaar has been racing Fort William for 20 whatever years. He knows that track. So if you go to Fort William and you've now like done a BDS before or practiced before or anything like that, and you need to learn 4 million rocks down the whole track in 3 hours of practice, and not like the first mistake I made was go to Andorra and try to learn the track and do 7 runs of it the day before, and then you are blown by quali day. So you really like, it's so like, for me, a new track, even playing field, everyone's
should be
getting to
fun.
grips with the track. That's why Leger track, when they first built Leger track, nobody's ridden it. They've just done like a little tester event there.
Yeah.
Everyone's puzzling about lines. Everyone's learning the track. Everyone's figuring out where to go. Then it's so much better because the vital raw, people are like, where do we go? What do we do? I promise you, on a fresh track with it, nobody's ridden, like even like Ludenville last year.
Yeah.
Sick fresh track. And I promise you, every one of the races, as soon as they finish practice, is on vital raw, trying to check what other riders are doing and their lines and their speed through sections, because it's like nobody kind of knows what the basis point is and stuff like that. So it's like, I love a fresh world. Like if it was my choice, I'd have 7 fresh venues every year. The organisers.
It's like free content, doesn't it? Like the story is so much more exciting. It's
100%.
like, yeah.
100%. Where would you have one? Where's
Find
missing?
out after the break. Companionship. Are you looking to take ownership of your health? Introducing AG1, a powerful daily nutrition supplement designed by scientists to support your body's needs. AG1 is a comprehensive and convenient blend of over 70 high-quality ingredients packed with vitamins, minerals, and whole food-sourced nutrients.
With just 1 scoop each morning mixed with water, AG1 helps to support your brain, heart, energy, and immune system. It's a powerfully simple way to start your day right. While we have a degree of individuality, science tells us that the human body is interconnected, which is why AG1 contains over 70 ingredients to support your baseline nutrition. Drink AG1 is the best way to feel reassured that you're supporting your body with a broad range of nutrients it needs. AG1 isn't just another supplement, it's a morning ritual, a timely habit that fits seamlessly into your routine. And it does fit into my routine.
Dude, it does, yeah.
Because I just do it in the morning before anything. Apparently, you're meant to have it on empty stomach, which I actually quite like. I take it with me in my little AG1 shaker and just go walk the dog.
I do it empty stomach every time, actually.
Yeah.
Because it said on the instructions, and I did what was on the instructions.
Like,
You know what I mean?
That's the sort of people we are.
Davey, what are the benefits?
Well, Ollie, they speak for themselves. From sustained energy throughout the day to immune support and stress management, AG1 has you covered. Plus, AG1 is NSF certified for sport, ensuring the highest quality ingredients and manufacturing standards. Ready to take the next step in your wellness journey? Visit drinkag1.com/ride companion today for a special offer. We are going to give you free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your next purchase.
So that's drinkag1.com/the Ride Companion.
That's right, mate. Yeah.
Nice.
drinkag1.com/Ride Companion.
Take ownership of your health with AG1. Check it out now.
Check it out now. Great ad break. Back in.
Are we back in? I think I sent
Someone's got to be.
I think I sent it to you. It was when Theo was away. It was his stories.
Oh.
I wanted to talk about your stories, your recent training trip for... You went on a recent training trip. I couldn't not... I knew people would get in touch and they'd ask me to... You did a recent training trip with one of your key sponsors and maybe you can talk to us about
it. It was the like it's honestly, it's rare that people send me stories and stuff. But no, it's not rare. Personally, I mean.
Yeah.
Through the podcast thing, so many people were just sending it. Like, watch this.
Actually...
Oh, mate.
Dude.
They must have been
To
like
your
the most...
podcast
yeah,
stage.
they must have been the most engaged stories you've ever had.
It was insane. It was insane.
Talk
The
us
numbers
through it.
must have been like...
Dude, I promise
What are the stories we're talking about?
It was so... from DarkFest build to DarkFest, testing it by myself, riding DarkFest, doing cool things, going to Hardline Tasmania, Queenstown for a month afterwards. Nothing went harder on my Instagram than fucking the Monster Energy Girls trip. It was kind of annoying. So, like, guys, I've done so many scary things. Like, this requires nothing but to just like a laugh. People are loving it.
How did it happen? Give us an overview.
So obviously Monster, like, I mean, they've got different budgets for different things somehow. And, like, every now and again you get on the right, like, trip or budget or whatever. And so, like, I've sometimes gone to go watch, like, MotoGP in, like, Barcelona or something. And then it's, like, a sick week, like, fully cooked
Big
up by
perks
Monster.
of the job, right?
Huge perks of the job.
What's the perkiest of the job that you've done?
Mate,
So,
banger.
So when we were at DarkFest, there was a big up Monster, like a high up Monster guy there. And I was like, dude, come on. When's the next cool Monster trip? I want to go watch like a, cool GP or motocross or something like that. And he was like, why don't you go on the Monster Energy Girls Summit? And I was like, oh, yeah, whatever, mate. Haha, funny one. And he was like, yeah, fucking, they need a couple mountain bikers there. Like, come on, we'll send you in there. And I was like, yeah, I'll see you. Like that's never going to happen kind of thing. And then even like, I still didn't believe it until like the one lady like called me to like book flights for it. And she was like, okay, like we need you to come there. I was like, okay, it's maybe happening kind of thing. And then she like booked the flights. I knew nothing about it. I thought it was going to be like 8 girls, me and Adolf, bit of snowboarding, chilled vibes, like just like I really wanted to go snowboarding actually. I was like sick, I want to go snowboarding. And then only when I got there I was like, oh whoa, this is the full shebang.
So what actually was it? What was the event? What happened?
So like it's like the Monster Energy Girls Summit. So like once a year, like the cool girls and the like, whatever, the Monster Energy Girls go together and they kind of, suppose from their side, like teach them, like, I mean, they probably know about social media and stuff like that, but like teach them how, some cool things on social media. Basically probably just get them on a cool place, get them to take photos of stuff in their outfits and have men like you gobble it all up.
And you.
I was gobbling. So it was like that. And basically, because like the Monster girls are also like Monster ambassadors, they want the girls to be like ambassadors of the brand. They don't want the girls to not have a clue about mountain biking or MotoGP or anything. They want the girls to have an understanding of the sport so that they talk to people about stuff like that. So me and Adolf were there to talk about our sport and explain and get them.
I think what I loved about it the most, like it wouldn't have been the same if it had been with someone else, but it's just because it was with you and I knew how much you would be so happy that you're living your dream. You're literally like, I like the idea of you explaining it to your dad. I like the idea.
My dad
Your dad was like, you'll never make money out of mountain biking.
I think it was also because I couldn't believe it myself, and I was just like, guys, you wouldn't believe what's happening. And honestly, I felt a bit bad posting about it. I was like, dude, I don't know if I can, like, this isn't mountain bike. Like, my page is kind of a mountain bike page. There was no mountain biking going on that week.
The conga video as well. Oh my God.
Honestly, never had like so many people message me saying like, please, oh my God, post more about this. Like the people were like, I was getting like 200 replies on multiple stories, like through, but past day one, my phone was like, well, I was also like just gin and tonics deep and my phone was gone. I was like, Whatever, I'm having the best time, boys. No ways. So every now and again, I still get messages from people that I'm like, oh, they've commented on my monster swell. It was
best.
It was a perk of the job, let's say
Yeah,
that.
mate, 100%.
But honestly,
But
like,
I think it's just what you brought to it as well. It was just so funny, mate. Honestly.
I think it was also like, because at that point I'd just come back from New Zealand and everyone on my Instagram was testing, be it in Spain or this or Andorra. Everyone was like crossing the T's and dotting the I's for the World Cup season. And I'd already like said, like, obviously I'm going to go on this I'm not going to say no. Like, yes, I'm going on this monster trip. And I was like, well, how am I going to make this look anything vaguely relevant to the World Cup season coming up? So I was like, let's pretend it's a training camp. And it was technically the only training camp I could get onto, but it was training monstacles, not talking about bikes. I tell you, it was the best thing I've ever done. So I don't care if I missed Fort William. I don't care. It was the best.
I bet you stoked to be a free racer at that point.
Even a few people in the know were like, mate, F the World Cups. That's like a once in a lifetime. Go for it.
Fantastic.
I say once in a lifetime. I was unpacking bags, carrying things around, doing everything I can to be on my best behavior to be on next year's Monster Energy Course Summit. I was actually showing like Natalie, the Monster Girl manager. I was like, look at the interest on my Instagram. I think I should be on every one of these. They're like, oh, sure, Tay, oh, sure. But honestly, I think it was a good like bridge gap between the thirsty mountain bikers that follow me and the monster girls.
There you go.
It was so good.
It worked.
And obviously, as per company culture, I was extremely well behaved.
Oh my days, mate. Unbelievable.
But
all that effort, all that travelling around in the UK, well, everywhere in that transit van, all came to that point. You're just like, oh, it was all worth it.
It was all worth it.
highlight.
The
Yeah.
smelly feet, all good.
Did you have like a montage moment? Like,
The bag by the lamppost, it
smelly
all
feet,
came down.
concussions.
I promise you asked any one of the girls there, my smile and vibe was unstoppable the entire week. I was the happiest person on planet Earth. Like, you couldn't believe a more happy, grateful person on every occasion. It was... I knew I was living the dream.
Exactly.
And honestly, I'll struggle to go on another, like, holiday. It's like, the boys going to be like, oh, dude, come to, like, Greece. We're going to do this. Like, do you know how cool it was to, like, roll into, like, any bar with, like, 20 girls in front of you and just be like, we're here. Just rolling around with 20 girls the whole time. I felt like such a boss.
Oh, that's too good. That's too good. We couldn't not bring it up.
No,
Yeah.
Fantastic.
But obviously,
Couldn't
I
not
was
bring
extremely
it up.
well behaved.
Of course.
Nothing happened. Company
course.
policy.
of course.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. So, Hardline's coming up. What's different this year? What are you hyped about?
What? Different this year? Do you know anything about what's happening this
I've
year?
seen
I've
some
heard.
track changes.
What? I saw a rendering on Dan Atherton's iPhone.
Oh, that's scary.
It was so scary.
Yeah, Dan Atherton's iPhone renderings have got to be scary.
Obviously, hopefully the rendering just looked quite basic, but it was a gigantic canyon gap. And I promise you, on the rendering, it looked the worst case scenario.
Really, yeah.
Because obviously it was basic Photoshop skills, but it was hectic. But like,
So that's up top, is it? Whereabouts is that on track?
so I think instead of going into that deathly forest, we're going to like go off the start gate and go left into some, no doubt, deathly other things. Go into a deathly canyon gap over, because basically where you do that metal kicker and that drop afterwards and a couple corners afterwards, there's actually like a huge cliff on the other side of that. So we're going to like go down there and then like ramp over the cliff. I mean, that like huge river thing, and then back into the track, into those two 90-foot jumps, into the bottom of the course and stuff.
Okay, so it's all above, yeah. It's weird because as someone watching it for so many times, I sort of feel, I've never been there, but I sort of feel like I know the track. I've watched enough POVs, like I know which bits.
We're going to be doing fantasy for it.
There you go, there you go.
Maybe.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Well, like fantasy for Hardline.
Yeah.
You'll know it.
Yeah, we do
I
that.
told Ronan if he, because he won Hardline Tassie. Okay, I'm going to swear now. He won Hardline Tassie. I was like, if you win Hardline Wales this year, he has to get up there. And you know how Conor McGregor, when he won the double title, he goes, I'd like to apologize absolutely fucking nobody. I am the fucking double champ. I watch Ronan go there. Say so, I apologize to fucking no one. I'm the fucking double champ. He does what he wants.
That'd be so good.
Fucking Ronan, please win it and cause a scene.
Mate, I was about to say you're my pick, but like, might have to be Ronan now.
Ronan.
Like, will it happen?
Have to be Ronan.
Imagine, that would be some good gear for the downhill scene.
It would, you're right.
Do you know who's
right.
in it? Who's entered?
Sure.
It's
I
weirdly
love entered. It's like, like
Summoned.
the sign on.
You signed me.
My parents used to do mine.
Yeah.
What is it? Is it not entered?
I don't know. I guess it's selected, eh?
Yeah.
Selected. Better. Way
Rob
better
Rob
word.
just messages you like, all right, mate. You want to do it? You're like, yes, Rob.
Is that what you felt like first one?
Yeah. Rob was like, do you want to do it? I was like, yes, Rob. I'd love to. Oh, and it's sick.
How many times have you done it?
I think I've done like maybe 3 Wales, but one of them last year got cancelled. Maybe.
Yes.
But yeah, the first one I did, I had like pretty good result. The next one I was riding pretty well, stacked it in the rock garden. And then the third one, it was cancelled because of the weather.
Yeah.
Granted, the weather was cock.
Have you had 2 8th places? This makes me seem like a real
Maybe.
mountain bike.
Yeah, maybe like an 8th the first year,
8th and a 9th or something.
and then a 9th at the last one in Tassie.
Yeah.
Something
That's
like
good
that.
going, isn't it?
Yeah,
like,
that's
Oh
right.
yeah.
like at that point in the elite, everyone's racing at that
Yes,
point. And then
yes,
it gets to a
yes.
certain point and people stop racing. They're just like coming down, doing like no-handers and stuff.
Remy Morton cruising down.
yeah, no change.
No, but it is hectic, and I honestly feel like I love those races because like sometimes you'll talk to like let's say like Benoit Coulange is like tapped, like what he can do, the speed that he can go at like a certain World Cup track is off the charts. For me, I'm like, that's crazy dangerous. But you'll be like, do you want to do this big jump? And he'll be like, no ways, dude. Like, don't want to do it kind of thing. Whereas like it takes a kind of special person to be like, no, I want to do those crazy things and go super fast into them and do that. So like, I'm just dying for a Hardline World Series. Like, it'd be so sick. Go to crazy places around the world, like fresh, unbelievably scary, but fun, rewarding tracks. Like,
Have you done a street race?
no.
Interesting.
Those look hectic as well.
I think you'd be good at a street race, dude. I think it's a similar sort of vibe, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would like, I like the reason I got into the sport was basically because I was like, I want to do a gap year and travel, and I can't afford it. So hopefully we can, I just want to see different places around the world. So when you just do a street race, you're like, come to this place in, I don't know, South America that you'd probably never travel to, and we'll come to a race there. And then you get to see the place and do the race, and it's like super fun. You know what I mean? Like that's like, I want to see the world. You know what I mean?
Tyre needs to be at Sarajevo.
Yeah.
We can make this into a clip, and then it can be like we can send it out to people.
I'd love to go.
You'd love to go.
Calendar's pretty jam-packed, but I will
I don't
move aside some things, maybe.
Would you move Monster Summit?
No.
No. Busy.
The one
I
thing.
will literally be available at any one point.
The rest of the calendar's
if
penciled in.
Natalie calls, I am available.
The rest of the calendar's penciled in, and there's that 1 week that's sort of like, it's like wax sealed and with a quill ink.
But I think actually I caused a bit of trouble for like, let's say Ryan Franklin, who's like the monster guy who like sponsors riders, because it's a big company. So like different sections get different budgets and stuff.
Yeah.
But like obviously I'm there just absolutely in helicopters doing crazy stuff, and people were messaging Ryan like, dude, I needed like £1,000 for this video project. Why are you not paying me for this video project? He was like, dude, it's not me. Like, it's not my budget's this. So I think it caused a bit of sweating for Ryan that week. But
This monster is actually massive, isn't it?
dude, it's
Like
crazy.
it's so much bigger than what I think anyone would even think it is.
Even
It's
I'll
astronomical.
sometimes see like they sponsor like UFC, like Valentino Rossi. He's like god tier athlete. Conor McGregor was like a monster guy for like they sponsor
nuts.
every Isle of Man, like everything. Formula One, McLaren, like they sponsor everything you can get your hands on. You know what I mean? So
It's astronomically big.
yeah. They're cool company though.
Best.
I love it. And I do rip through monsters.
Did we do listener questions?
Yeah, we got a few, and there's some goodies. I think we'll be able to pick up some stuff in there as well.
Should we do them?
Yeah, let's. I can do them. Have you got it? Or was I
Yeah, I can log in. We can do We can do.
Okay, let's have a look. See what we got.
Let's
See
take
what we
it in
got. See what we got. All right, let's take it into.
I'm nervous for
Oh,
listening
that-
questions.
Are you actually? I wonder if there's many about your lovely, lovely trip.
Yeah, there's going to be a few. All right. Okay, let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. I only put it up not that long ago. So, okay, we got DHC619. Can you juggle?
No, dude. I can do so many things in this world. And juggling is so hard. Honestly, I don't know. I can kite surf, wakeboard, backflip off cliffs, do what, honestly,
almost
anything, but
Not
can't
juggling.
juggle.
Can't juggle.
I used my skills juggling the other day at the melon.
Oh, God.
Yeah, but we can't talk about it yet. Anyway, moving on. Okay, Barney Penfold says, physically, how are you so good? Love your riding style and amazing DarkFest runs. Kind of a question, but he clearly a fan. But like, I guess physically, how are you so good? Like, I guess he's asking about training.
Well,
What's training look like? Is there
Yeah.
a training regime or not? Is there some?
I go to gym
Yeah.
because there's a guy who's, bless him, James, who's like, he like years ago was like, what are you doing to train? And I was like, I don't know, mate. And he was like, dude, like, come on. And I was like, I don't know. And he was like, I'll train you, mate. Come on, let me train you. So like, and obviously discipline's not the paramount of my skills. So he was really good at being like, get to here now, So I gym quite a bit. And then honestly, I just try to like be active and kite surf and ride motocross and stuff like that. But to be honest, I'm like not at my physical peak right now going into this season.
Going into Transmadeira.
Yeah, no, I'm like really worried for my rims this season because it's going to be a rough year for them. And it's funny that he says like, I love your style or something like that. Has he seen Cade and Chaos ride? Like, what is he doing?
No, you got it good there.
All good. Okay, what else? Oh, this is a great one. TM Mitchell 48. What do you enjoy doing off the bike?
Golf. So much golf.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Really?
Okay,
I've
kite
never got
surfing.
the golf thing. You've never got the golf thing, have you?
No.
I've never got the golf
South
thing.
Africa's like in Cape Town, there's so many nice golf courses.
Okay.
So and a lot of my friends I went to school with play golf.
Right.
So like they always messaging me, come on, let's play.
You said it was more affordable as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
Because I think there's like a part of the status thing over here that is attached to it that I'm like instantly put off by.
Yes,
so
yeah.
much money and
Yeah.
whereas you've got the best courses for
In South Africa, it's like beautiful courses, and for £30 you can play 18 and a cart, like no dramas. So it's amazing. And I kite surf a lot in summer because Cape Town's always windy.
Right.
So it's like, it's one of those things where you like it sucks to suck in the beginning, and then your scale of getting better is like so like you're like, oh my god, so you're like frothing the whole time.
Yeah.
And then every time in Cape Town when it's like 30 knot winds and you're like, whoa, sucks to ride a bike today. You're like, let's go, and you can kite surf. And I feel like it's good, like you're like in a constant squat and you're using your core and all of that. So like I think it's pretty good training.
Do you have like your own place and stuff in Cape Town?
No.
Okay.
Still living in like a we don't have
Another
to mention that.
I can't remember what it was on.
But
It's
to be
just
fair,
a garage.
oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
a monster thing.
yeah. That.
Seaga and Milky were
It was
there filming,
so
and I was like,
good.
guys, you don't have to use this footage, and they did, and I was like, shit, man.
Have you seen it? It's so funny.
But to be
Mate, it
fair,
looks
like,
great. It's just a bed and then a YZ125. It's so good.
to be fair, like I travel so much, I'm not willing to like rent a place for 12 months, and then like I've spent honestly maybe 4 weeks at home this entire year, because as soon as DarkFest starts in January, I'm staying in Stellenbosch with Sam and those guys, doing that, spent like a week at home, went to Tasmania and Hardline Queenstown for like a month, came back, Monster trip, then here, like never at home. So I'm like, I'm not gonna, and I've got 5 bicycles, kite surfing gear, surfboards, all of that. So it's basically like a storage unit with a bed and bang, okay, next thing, let's go.
proper van life. Static van life. Right, we got one from Chris G7, and I think you're a great person for this question. What was the craziest feeling you've done on a bike?
Great question.
So the craziest feeling thing you've done on a bike. Sorry, I messed it up. Sorry, Chris.
Dude.
Because really you've had a combination of crazy things. So
Yes.
it's
Yeah,
like
I was like trying to like scan
Yeah,
through
yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah.
Honestly, I'd say maybe a race run at Leger.
Sick.
Even like DarkFest and stuff is insane. Big jumps insane. A race run at Leger where you are absolutely just shitting yourself
Yeah.
for the 2 hours before your race run, and then like warming up, getting into the zone, and then like once you're in that zone and you're in that state and you're not thinking about anything else, and then you're doing like a race run down Leger. And luckily, because I'm like not qualified first, usually most people spectate by like going to the top of the hill, then like walking down the track and then congregating at the bottom for the final kind of few riders. But like, let's say you're starting 30th last, you honestly, like Leger, you do the top section, it's kind of chilled. And then from where the first gondola comes off by the dam, from there, you cannot hear anything. You cannot like think anything. There's just chainsaws, cowbells, noises, screaming. Like Brooke McDonald has a POV because he was allowed GoPros of like a certain kind of time in the day when you do that run. And there's like 4 deep of spectators for a full 2 minutes down that track. And there is so much noise, you can't think or do anything. And you're just in the state of like, well, I'm not going to slow down now. Like, let's just go. And you're like, well, I'm really tired by now, but like people are just going mental. And then you get into that bottom section where they've kind of felled some trees. And as you like enter a right-hander and turn left, there's like an amphitheater of people. And you're just like, why are there so many people here right now? And you just like, and for like that, call it 2.5 minutes, like you are like out of this like world, like concentrating on surviving and going way too fast than you should be going kind of thing. And just like when you get to the bottom and you've survived and you cross the line, you're like, no ways that just happened. Like it is like a race run at Leger. Like crack, dude.
Is this almost a specific race run? Because you got 19th?
Yeah, like I've had a few good race runs at Leger and stuff like that, and they go
top 20 time. That's you got to be pretty stoked.
Yeah,
with that.
I know, mate. For a mid-pack rider, I'm always stoked on a top 20,
dude.
And honestly, like sometimes, dude, those, you have to like be on the absolute ragged edge, like so hard. That's why when I see Bruni come down, I'm like, dude, how the hell are you doing that, my man? I was holding on for dear life.
Hey, actually, whilst you talk about the ragged edge, what does that actually almost feel like? I know what it feels like on a fucking 1 minute track in the Surrey Hills, but like the ragged edge on a downhill bike in Leger, you're going at the pace of the top 20 World Cup rider. What are you doing that's different? Like, what are we talking?
I don't know. I'm just trying to absolutely like. You're always trying to just nail, like, obviously once you've, like, you visualize the run so many times, and then you've got certain points, you're like, okay, I need to exit that corner with speed. I need to, like, leave my braking there so it's not so rough, and then brake there or something like that. So you're just trying to kind of go through that, but you're just going flying down and kind of, I think the way visualization works is like you try visualize it before so that you don't have to think about it, and you kind of just like ticking through each thing as you're going down. So often through a run, I'm just like, okay, survived. Okay, whoa. Like every now and again, you'll have a break point, and you're like, fuck, we made it this far. Let's go. And then you like go again. And I mean, the ragged edge is basically last year when I did semis and I had the best run ever, and then they were like back out for finals. And then I had a huge moment where I basically exited a corner like faster than I had before, and instead of going down and hitting like I went over and then bounced off a roller, and then had like a huge over the bars like save almost moment. And being on the ragged edge, you save that, and I literally like land with my wheel on the ground. And I was like feet on, survived, go. Like there's no like, whoa, like if you had done that on a practice run, you'd have been like, whoa, like
screaming,
like
shouting,
whoa, like oh my god. That was in a race run. You just like next thing, go.
Yeah.
But like, that is, you basically just riding. That's also one thing. I feel like it's tough. People say you should practice how you compete or practice how you race. But like, I feel like downhill is not a sport where you can practice how you race. Like if you did 10 Leger runs on the ragged edge, you'd go home in a helicopter. You can maybe like save a couple things here and there and like just survive the run. But like you can't practice at 10/10ths. Like it's just insane. So like the whole point, I'm just like, don't hit the deck, don't hit the deck, don't hit the deck.
Mate, it gets me hyped just hearing you talk about it. It actually does.
So sick.
Do you know what was really scary last year. I took out the wrong travel insurance. So I didn't insure like racing crashes. And at a World Cup, like there's like 5 helicopters a weekend. Like during practice, it's just like, okay, next guy, okay, next guy. And I'm just watching helicopters coming in and out. And I'm like, damn, like my strategy for insurance is like, if I crash, I get up from the crash, I go down to the van, I take my wristband off, and I drive to the hospital. And I say, man, I was mountain biking, and I broke my collarbone. And I just saw helicopters coming in and out, and I was like, dude, I can't afford one of those helicopters. Don't hit the deck, dude. Do not hit the deck. You want to do well at these races, but you cannot afford one of those emergency helicopters.
Oh, man.
So I was panicking last year.
Dude, I bet I hate the idea of that.
And even Greg also hates helicopters. He rode down the hill with a broken back because he didn't want to get in a helicopter.
Really?
You know about that, no?
No.
Dude, when he broke his back in Val de Sol, he was like, whoa, this is not good. But he's got a horrible fear of like flying up, being like hoisted in one of those baskets.
Really?
So he literally like told the physios at the bottom, like, get the bed ready, close the pit tents, like, I'm coming down, and rode down the hill to the thing and then lay down on the bed. And he was like, okay, now you can call the helicopter. And everyone was like, Greg, dude, not what you meant to do, my man. And he was like, nah, I don't want to fly away in the helicopter.
I've never heard that story. That's terrifying.
But Greg's also South African, hard as nails, you know.
There you go. Clearly, dude. Clearly.
Holy. All right, what else we got?
Some of them we can't read, I'll be honest.
No.
I knew even when I posted that. I was
This is a good one. Matty Baker, 1985. How on earth are you so fucking positive all the time?
That's a nice one.
Because I feel like in South Africa, there is so much horrific things going on all the time. If you can, like, it's like you see so much horrible, you know, like poverty and this and that. So honestly, like you'll drive past somebody and they'll be living in a tent on the side of the road, not even a tent, moment, like the worst version of a tent you can imagine. And you're like, dude, you've got money in your card and you've got fuel in your tank and you're driving a car. Like you have nothing to complain about. So like don't expect anything. You know what I mean? Don't be like, oh, somebody should be doing this for me and I should have this. And like, you could have nothing. Like anything on top of your health is amazing. You know what I mean? Like you can't, I feel like, just being in South Africa, you see some pretty crazy, horrible things. And like, if you're driving around, you know, doing fun things, you're like, man, you are living the best life ever, you know?
Yeah. This might be a stupid question, but do you like it being in Europe?
Do
you like being in Europe? Because you kind of have to be here for your job as well. But like, I know you're not going to say no. No. But obviously, Cape Town's a beautiful place.
No. So yes, I love riding the trails in Europe, seeing like all of the, you know, being in these beautiful places all across Europe and like the architecture and stuff like that, and riding all of the trails around here. But man, being in Europe, sometimes dealing with like French and German security guards just telling you nine and dash not possible and dish and dash, and you're like, dude, this is so possible, my man. like you know, like you cannot park here, and you're like, I'm literally parked there, dude. I'm literally parked there. It's so possible. Give me 5 minutes. I'm getting the parking pass. And they're like, dash not possible. And like you can obviously throughout the year, like now I'm like frothing to be overseas. It's just gone autumn in Cape Town, so Cape Town's kind of like going down.
Yeah.
But then by like August, you are a hut full of French and German people, and you're like, take me back. So and like honestly, I like every time, even if I get on as you say, I'm a pretty positive guy.
Yeah.
So anytime I'm doing, I don't know, flying or traveling or doing anything, like it's a bonus. Like you should like nobody's granted that. What's the word I'm looking for?
It's
you know what I mean?
given,
it's not given to do this or go ride your bike or do that. Like even if I'm like ungodly hungover at a bike park, I'm like, dude, the lift is open and you should be riding right now. Get on your bike and go ride. So I'm just like, nothing's a given. Enjoy every second of it. You know what I mean?
That's sick, dude.
Yeah, it's rad.
It
does come across as well.
And it is fun. Like when you're at the World Cups, it's like a moving circus. You know what I mean? Like everyone's mates there. Everyone does things. Everyone laughs at everything. You can do an after party with everyone. So it's like a big moving gypsy circus that like everyone's a little bit cooked as well, if you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
often when I hang out with my mates in Cape Town, they're like, dude, you are nuts. And I'm like, dude, I'm like well thought out, pretty conservative guy compared to the rest of the pack. And you're like, they are absolutely off their head.
On that note, Cade 2000, a chap called Cade 2000 has asked D, B, and C.
Oh, double brandy and cokes.
There you go.
Nice.
Right on cue, Cade.
Yeah,
Nice.
in Stellenbosch, where we do DarkFest, they have a prolific drink called the double brandy and coke.
Okay.
And they are super delicious and super strong. Some people, yeah. So everyone in DarkFest is just smashing double brandy and coke.
B and C's.
Part of our culture, you know.
Zach Fowler, favourite monster?
Oh, I actually, and this is going to sound so lame, but like I think a crispy cold original monster
Really,
has
yeah.
a certain superpower above like a Monster Juice or like a Monster Mango Loco or something like that. Like a crispy original. If I have I'll literally gun for a crispy original before a DarkFest session, because I'm like, you just buzz off
6
of
a.m.
literally 6 a.m. It's so hard at DarkFest because you'll literally wake up and, like, honestly, a coffee does not do it to ride those jumps at 6 a.m. So you'll do a coffee, you get ready, and you'll be like, still not ready to do shit. And bang.
Mate, it's a testament. Like, we've got so many questions, dude.
Yeah, there is a lot.
There are so many. It's
Oh, this is a great one. I got another good one.
Go on.
Gareth, I think it's Gareth. I can't read it, sorry. Gareth W. Nash. Why no YouTube? You seem to have the personality for it. And I'm going to have to agree with Gareth on
Yeah,
that.
I know. Me too, to be honest, Gareth. I really should. I'm still driving around in a 2009 Transit, and I could really do with that Matt Jones YouTube cash.
Oh, man, yeah.
And honestly,
Hey,
I
you
could-
could jump your house easy as well.
Yeah. It's only 1 bedroom. Honestly, I really, really should. But it is like when you go to a World Cup weekend and you mid-pack, you are really stressing about everything. Like, I don't finish practice and like park my bike and go for a massage and like I'm like running to Shimano, getting a new derailleur, running to
Yeah.
Maxxis, getting tires. Like, I'm like pretty full on a race weekend. So like, and honestly, those YouTube boys work pretty hard at like getting stuff up and editing and all of that stuff. So I don't know. I really should, because I
Yeah.
think my mid-pack results will not last a while. So I better jump on the YouTube bus. And I feel like it would be good. Like, I mean, even...
Mate, documenting like the travels and stuff.
Yeah,
is
I know.
so
I should.
sick.
I'm
all
honestly
here for it.
The only
We're all
thing
here
I'd
for it.
the
Yeah.
only thing I'd consider is just doing like heinous YouTube, just like no cut. Like it gets recorded, it goes on a timeline, it gets uploaded. But you
That's
also
Bernard's business model.
yeah, Bernard's business. But you also you think it like it's like quick and easy, but like I don't have Wi-Fi in my transit van, so I can't just upload a vlog. Like, you know what I mean? So
The minimum effort is still a lot of effort. The minimum effort you can put into YouTube is still a lot of it.
Yeah.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
but I really should. Maybe, I mean, I don't know.
We'll start a petition in
Start
the
a
comment
petition
section.
or something. If yeah,
How
somebody
many
do it,
comments do we
because
need
even
for YouTube?
I couldn't believe, like, I feel like I'm pretty active on social media, like, okay,
Yeah.
Instagram and stuff like that. But like, when I did Sam's YouTube at DarkFest, because he kind of got injured, went home, and I kind of like try to like, you know, make some fun things happen. Like, YouTube's a different beast. Like, when I went to Tasmania, people there were like, dude, they knew me. They like went, like, they were so
right,
amped
yeah.
on it. And I was like, how did you,
Another audience, isn't
how
it?
did
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
how I couldn't believe how like stoked they were on all of it. And even CA, who was editing all of it, he's like, dude, we need to get the YouTube going. And I'm like, CA, I just can't pay you, my man. I don't know how to do it. To start a petition, tag, I don't know, Ryan Franklin and CA. We'll put CA in the transit van, and CA will come to the World Cup. So we'll do, honestly, because I honestly, if I don't have to edit it, I'll make it a motherfucking vibe. Like, it will be
yeah.
good.
I'm subscribing.
Yeah, I'm subscribing.
subscribing.
Is there
So
a channel
You
set
got
up
2 at
already?
least.
I think I have a YouTube channel,
is a
but it's
YouTube
maybe
channel.
got like one. Actually, try to see if they can. I've got like one heinous old video on it, and maybe like a POV. See if they can just subscribe to it, and
Let's get
I'll
that going.
if
That's
it's
a
it's
great
going, I'll be
idea.
like, okay, guys, there's people that because obviously
1,000
I feel
subscribers,
like
you
I'm
start
kind
making a
of
bit of bunch
like
as
I'm
well.
kind
you
of
know?
like a humble person. I really don't think that people are actually interested in my life. Like,
Right, this is where the companionship could
but
be.
you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
people are like, oh, I'm like, dude, like I'm not that fucking interesting.
Subscribe to Theo.
We could
Nah.
actually
So
Right,
if
yeah.
actually people subscribe to, I'll be like, there's actually people keen on it.
Okay.
Okay, I'll do something.
All right, we'll put a link in the show description for the YouTube channel.
You're going to regret that. Searching for Wi-Fi in your transit.
This
Hi
is gonna be
boys,
tough.
we're on the way to find a coffee shop to have a poo this morning. Please don't put that in. This coffee shop looks quiet. Let's go in it.
Blow it up. Right, I've got one from Rob GRTT. This could be a good one to end on. Cool. What's a puss clap, and where would someone find one?
I think I can swear in Afrikaans. A puss is a pretty not great word in Afrikaans.
Yeah.
Sometimes referred to female anatomy.
Okay, that's what it is.
And a clap, but basically it's like a, it can be puss lekker. I mean, that's another Afrikaans word. Like, it can be puss hard. The track can be puss kak. Like the track can be puss leg.
So it's like very. Can we say
very.
Okay.
And basically, if you a little, like, I don't know, if you're causing trouble in a bar or something and you small some Afrikaans guy, because Afrikaans people are big and they love giving little English boys puss claps. So often we have a thing in South Africa called being a soatpil, which means being like having a salty willy, which basically means it's from like an old, it's basically old.
I want to hear you explain your way out of this.
Old English people were half English, half South African, so their willy used to hang in the ocean. So they were called soties. and basically Afrikaans people love giving English people puss claps when they get out of hand.
Oh mate, this has been brilliant. I've had a fantastic time. This has flown by, this podcast.
Yeah, this is fantastic. Great guest.
Where can people find you?
Follow the Instagram. I'll probably, I don't know, keep on. I'll try to do some fun things on Instagram now that there's some people asking questions.
Great follow.
And stuff.
One of the best. One of my favourites.
Yeah.
Many thanks.
Big up.
Yeah, thanks you boys. I was really scared before this because I don't think I'm that very important, and I'm scared Bruni's gonna be like, mate, who's this mid-pack rider talking about his opinions? What does he think he is? Get back to out of qualifying zone. So at least we didn't get too much into World Cup racing. But I'm stoked. I don't really talk too much on Instagram, so it's cool to sit down with you guys and talk a bit.
You're the man. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening. Peace and love.
Thanks, guys.
Like and subscribe.
Hey, man, what an episode that was. You did amazing in it.
And so did you.
You shone like a star.
You shone like a moon.
I shone like a Focus spring deal.
Oh,
yeah, that's
beautiful
good.
transition.
Right, I've got a question for you, David, to kick this final advert off.
Yeah.
What would you do with up to 400 euros if you got it back when buying a bike?
Ooh, I could stay in the bike shop and spend my 400 euros on accessories.
Good point. Support your local bike shop. Great point.
I could take the 400 euros and go to another shop close by, maybe buy 400 euros of pasta, maybe go to the Euro store, get 400 euros and just, that's Christmas done for eternity.
True.
Just keep handing them out
Lottery
every year.
tickets.
Yeah, beans.
Tyres.
Chamois
cream.
A new pet.
A new pet. Perhaps a water dragon or an iguana. Lovely idea. Well, Focus are actually making that question a reality.
Nice.
Because with the Focus spring deals, you can grab up to 400 euros back when buying a new bike. If you want to find out more, check out the terms and conditions and all of the details in the link. We're going to put that below, and I'm also going to read it out.
Please.
Okay, you ready for me to read it out?
Yes, I'm.
This is old school, innit? Reading out links.
Yeah, anticipation.
I'm going to do it anyway.
Please do it.
I'm doing it.
I want the deal.
Ride.focus.bikes/spring deals TRC.
Ooh, nice. So that is ride.focus.bikes/spring deals TRC. And let us know in the comments what you would do with 400 euros. Best answer wins a signed ODub hat.
Oh, I like it. Good.
All
I've
right.
got hats. Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, I'm good for that.
Okay.
Hey, can we also put something up here that you can click on for the next episode?
How about we put a subscribe up there in the middle?
Yeah, love
We're going to put a video we think that our lovely companionship will love on your face.
Oh, my face?
Yeah. And
so
on
they can't see me now?
Gone. And on my face, another video that we think people will love. And thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please hit like and subscribe. You guys are the best.
Peace and love.